Hey everyone! So excited this is finally happening. Welcome to the Guitar Transformation Bootcamp. I have another screen here monitoring the YouTube feed with comments and everything. I think there's about a 5 or 10 second delay. So if you see me looking over here, I'm just trying to make sure that everything is good. But welcome. This is so exciting. I'm very, very excited. So welcome to the Guitar Transformation Bootcamp. It's crazy that this is already here. It's upon us. This is day one music theory. I am so excited for this. So I normally teach one-on-one Zoom lessons or master classes where I can see the students on the other end. This is really the first time I've done a live stream where I can't see your faces. I can't hear you, but I see people in here already. I see their handles popping up, people in the comments already. Guys, thanks for being here. This just made my day to hop on here and see so many people in this room. This is awesome. So guys, let's make this interactive. Please, in the chat, if you want to, put in where you're from, how long you've been playing, if there are certain things that you're excited about this boot camp, what you're wanting to learn on the guitar. Let's make this as interactive as possible. This is also my first time doing any sort of YouTube live stream. I tested this last night to make sure that everything would run smoothly. So if there's any technical things, if you can't hear me or see me for any reason, please put that in the chat. I'm trying to monitor all of that and keep eyes on everything here. But it seems like everything is good so far. Awesome. We've already got like 60 some people in here. This is incredible. Well, welcome to this. I am so excited. So we're going to get started here. I first want to just talk about a little bit about myself. I know I've got some people in here. I already saw some names here that I recognize, some of my own students, masterclass students, some Instagram followers. So you might know me, but I want to just introduce who I am, what I do. I also want to talk about why I'm doing this boot camp, because doing a free 4-day thing is usually not heard of. Everything, you have to pay for everything now. So I wanted to explain why I'm actually doing this. And then I do also want to do just some housekeeping things to show you where the resources are, where all of the links are. I love communication. I'm sometimes a bit of an over communicator. I don't want anybody to be confused whether I'm teaching something or just explaining how to find resources. So I'm going to do some screen sharing to actually show you where the workbook is, the Facebook group, everything that we're going to be looking through, so that nobody leaves here not knowing where anything is. But let me go ahead and just share a little bit. Oh, so much fun stuff happening in here already in the comments section. I love this. Oh, guys, keep it coming. Probably what I'm going to have to do is after this is over, I'm going to have to read through everything because this is so exciting to meet all of you guys in here. This is awesome. These are recorded. So I will, I'm actually sending out an email later tonight with the replay link. So if you're thinking I can't come here tomorrow live, everything is going to be recorded. Everything is going to be sent to you. The links to the lives are going to be the same links as the actual replays or recordings. So please, if you guys have to leave here early and go to bed, you feel free to do that. You're totally fine. You can watch the wrap up later. I am going to have a Q&A time at the end of this where I can actually look at questions on here. So I will say, I'll just preface this session by saying, if there are questions on the things that I'm teaching, if you want to hold off on them for the end, so I have time to actually read through the comments, I will have like a 10-minute Q&A session or however long we need to. I've got nothing until my lesson's scheduled for tomorrow, so I'm totally fine. If you guys have questions all night, I'm fine hanging out here with you guys. But I want to talk a little bit about myself. I know some of you already know me, but my name is Caitlin Caggiano, and I've been teaching guitar most of my life. I absolutely love teaching this instrument. I believe this is what I was called to do, what I was really created to do, what I was made to do. I've been teaching the guitar for almost 20 years, which is crazy. I have honestly been teaching the guitar most of my life. It is my purpose. It is my passion. It's honestly, it's my entire life. I love this instrument, and when I teach guitar to people, I see breakthrough in so many different areas of their life other than just guitar and music, and it's been the most rewarding thing. I've done professional session work, professional performing. I actually perform at Disney. Currently, I'm in Orlando, Florida, but there has been nothing more rewarding in my life than actually teaching this. I believe you really understand the power of the gift that you've been given when you give it away, and I'll go into this later, but that is one of the reasons why I want to do this, is because I love showing people how to actually create with this and actually speak the language with this. It makes every aspect of your life better. I'm sure if I've got students in here, they can attest to that. It's awesome. So I normally teach one-on-one Zoom lessons, and I teach a few master classes throughout the week. I've got a cage system masterclass on Tuesday nights. I've got a intermediate level masterclass called Secret Weapons on Thursday nights. But I have been doing that for a long time, where I teach one-on-one or I teach group lessons. This is really the first time I've done anything like that. And I will say, if you are interested in studying with me, I did put a link to my one-on-one Zoom lessons underneath there. If you've never studied with me before, these next 4 days will probably show you if you like studying with me or not. But those Zoom lesson links are down there below. The way that I do my Zoom lessons is very stress-free. You actually don't even need to communicate with me to book a lesson. You just click that link, click your time. And I'm not a teacher where like you have to commit to like a month's worth of lessons. You just book a lesson whenever you want. Life is confusing enough. Booking guitar lessons does not need to be confusing. So yeah, just enjoy that. Check that out if you want to. Let's go ahead and I want to talk about why I am doing this class. And actually I should say, because it might be weird that I'm starting with a music theory topic, because that's not the most attractive. It is to me. If you know me, my love language is music theory. I'm starting a music theory podcast later on next month, but I love it. I actually got my degree in classical guitar, it's kind of like 2 degrees when you go to school for music. I got a degree in classical performance, and you basically have 4 years of intense theory. So I love music theory. I love teaching the pedagogy of the instrument, how you actually understand the instrument. I'm a little bit of a different guitar teacher. Some of the stuff I say, some people think it's a little weird, but I love it. And we'll get into a ton of that tonight. But I want to talk about why I'm actually doing this boot camp. I truly want, and I've made this a goal for this year, especially for 2025, but I want to reach and teach as many people as possible. As many people as I possibly can. And I've done a lot of paid master classes, and I still do. I still offer the ticketed master classes. I still obviously offer my one-on-one Zoom lessons. But I want to touch the lives of as many people as I can, because I know when you learn this instrument and you actually learn how to speak the language on this instrument and you actually learn how to communicate with this instrument, it is life-changing. And so I really have had it on my heart that I want to reach as many people in the year of 2025 as possible. And when you have a free class, you obviously can have more people come in. So I want the next 4 days, I really truly hope you do see my heart with this. I want to help as many people as possible. And I want to thank you already for being here and for trusting me to help you transform your guitar playing, and trusting me to help guide you through your guitar journey. I tell that with all of my students, it is a journey, and I'm still on this journey. Learning the guitar is a lifelong journey, and it is the greatest honor of my life to help people with that. So I really think this, I truly believe this too for so many of my students and just people in my life. I believe 2025 is going to be a transformative year, and that is why I use that word transformation. In these 4 days, I'm going to go through the schedule of what we're going to be talking about the next 4 days, and probably most of you will think it's absolutely insane, the amount of stuff that I'm going to be teaching. Some people are saying there's an echo, no echo there. Fix the echo. Okay, awesome. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to monitor everything. I can only do what I can do. Anyway, I truly do believe the stuff that we're going to be talking about, even though it's going to be, I'm going to explain it tonight. You might think, how is she going to get through all of this in 4 days? I have spent the past year designing this so that I can get through this in the next 4 days. The things we're going to talk about, I truly believe are transformative. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to be on the journey with you guys. I'm excited that everybody's in this room. Again, all of these are going to be recorded, but if you are in here live, you are going to be able to do the Q&A that we're going to have at the end of this class. We're going to have prizes. I'm going to talk about all that tonight. So, but another reason why I am doing this boot camp is I'm actually celebrating something. And I have not announced this publicly. This is actually the first time I have announced this publicly. I am celebrating the launch of my very own online guitar academy. I've shared this with a few of my students, but I've not shared this at all publicly. I'm going to pretty soon announce the launch of Caitlin's Guitar Academy. I have been teaching guitar most of my life. I've been doing one-on-one lessons. I've been doing Zoom lessons and master classes and a bunch of stuff on my Instagram Reels, which is where most people learn from me. But I am actually I have created an online academy where there is online courses, where there's a community group, where there is monthly live streams, Q&A sessions, feedback on playing, even student like open mics or concerts if you want that, custom tab notation. This is going to be a place where you can be on a journey of growing your guitar skill set the rest of your life. And I will be offering lifetime access to this later on. And I want to get to teaching here in just a bit. So I'm going to share more about this. But I thought, why not celebrate this with doing what I love? I love teaching. So I'm like, let's do it. You guys know me. I really have no hobbies or life outside of this. If I have a free hour, I'm not going to sit on the couch and watch Netflix. I'm going to make guitar diagrams. I'm going to do something teaching related. I love this. It's like breathing for me. It's amazing. So I thought, why not celebrate the launch of this course with 4 days of free teaching? Why not do it? But I'm really excited about the courses that I did make. I feel like almost every waking moment of 2024 was dedicated to creating these courses. I've created actually 30 courses. They're available now. I'll show it to you. If you want to check them out, you totally can. I'll screen share here in a little bit so you guys can see it. But I've actually created 30 online guitar courses, which I truly believe hit the most important facets of speaking the language of music on the guitar, the most important facets of actually playing and understanding your instrument. I've studied a lot of guitar courses and I was trying to really see what is missing here, and I'm really excited about it. I don't mean to get emotional. If you know me, I do get a little bit emotional, but I don't mean to get emotional about this at all. But I will say, up to this point in my life, the courses that I have designed are my life's work. I have compiled most of my teaching methods that I have created, concepts of learning the guitar that I have designed and created that have never been taught before. My teaching secrets I have put into these courses, and I'm going to continuing to be doing this for the years to come. There's the 30 that are up there is a fantastic foundation, and I'm very excited about it. Just to make this long story very short, I've sacrificed a lot, and I've said no to a lot of things in my life so that I can say yes to teaching as many people as I possibly can. And I did not mean to get emotional with this at all, guys. I love what I do so much. But the courses that are up there are my life's work. If you have learned from me through like 60-second, 90-second Instagram reels, I'm so happy about that. The things that I share on my social media channels are the tip of the iceberg. There is a lot of things that I have not shared publicly. My teaching methods, sometimes my one-on-one Zoom lessons and my master classes have seen a little bit of it, but I really thought it is the right time to share this with the world. So I'll show you that. We'll do some screen sharing for a bunch of stuff here in a little bit. But I'm really excited about it. It's awesome. But you guys came here to learn, so we're gonna get into learning here pretty soon. Let me go ahead and just do just a little bit of housekeeping just to show you where the resources are for everything. I know I intended for these to be 1-hour sessions. If you've been in a masterclass with me before, sometimes I don't know how to stop. I just keep teaching. So I'm going to try my best to cap this at an hour, but we will see. Again, you are not offending me if you leave this live room and watch the rest of it later, okay? But let me go ahead and just start the screen sharing to show you where all of the links are, the group, even just the online courses if you want to check that out. Okay, we're going to test the screen sharing out. I've got another monitor here. We're going to see if this works, guys. This is my guinea pig class. Okay, hang on here. Let's screen share, see if we see this. Okay, it's like a 10-second delay, so let me just see if this pops. There we go. Okay, awesome, beautiful. So this is the registration form. I will be sending out a ton of emails this week. I'm going to send out an email tonight with the replay link, the information on how you can win the prizes, the wait list for my Guitar Academy, all of this stuff. If you are not currently getting emails from me, or you just hop into this live session at random, this is where you put your email. Now, this can be found on my Instagram, link in bio. It says Guitar Transformation Bootcamp registration. You can click on that. If you comment on any of my Instagram reels, the word bootcamp, you get taken to this. This link is also at the bottom of this YouTube video. It literally says, it talks about music theory. It says get fully registered. If you click that link, enter your email, you will get an email that has all of the links to pretty much everything. Okay. Now, once you get that email, it will take you to a Facebook group. Let's go to our group here. It's funny. I have, I think probably now close to 900 people signed up for this bootcamp, which is crazy. I was not expecting that much. I was expecting, if I get 50 people, that'd be great. And there's only like 174 members in here. So make sure, I'll accept who's ever in there here in just a little bit, but make sure that you are taking advantage of the Facebook group. Some people don't use Facebook. If you want to just make like a dummy account, go for it, and you can delete it later, because there's so much information that I'll be sharing through this Facebook group. It's just a little bit easier. I will be sharing things through email, but if you want to get access to like the giveaway and the prizes, I'll be doing that through the Facebook group. So take advantage of that. This link is on that email. Link is also in the description of this YouTube live video. Okay. And in this Facebook group, I'm featuring the posts that have like everything I already gave away. If you're in the Facebook group, you already got the Fretboard Formulas online course. That's one of my 30. Take advantage of that. The bootcamp registration is in here. I'm going to be putting the lives and the replays in here. Might just be easier than checking your email every day. If you just want to hop in here, you totally can. Now, there is a link that I will be sending tonight with the resources and replays. This link is in the featured post. If you click on this link, it will take you to this page. Some of you have probably already seen this. I sent out a mass email with this yesterday and today. There's a workbook to supplement your learning for the next 4 days. This is optional. I recommend downloading it because it has great tab exercises. It has great diagrams just to aid your learning. So we'll look at that here in just a little bit. If you click join the group, that will take you to the Facebook group. And then if you click this join the waitlist, this will actually send you to my Guitar Academy waitlist, which everybody is going to be able to access actually joining that membership at the end of this 4 days. But if you want to just hop in on that, you can. All the replays are also going to be in here, which are also the lives. This is going to be sent out tonight. The link tonight, it's going to say on the email, it's going to say resources and replays. This will give you all of this. Okay. Let me show you the workbook here first. So if you click download workbook, it will download this workbook, which I'm thinking now, all of the grammatical errors are fixed here. Guys, I will say this, I don't have a team. Literally anything that you see on my social media, anything that I teach from, anything that I make, any web page or landing page or anything at all, I am the only human being doing this. Any DM response, like everything is, I don't have a team for this. So there are occasionally, it's funny, I have an identical twin sister, and she was so like English and history growing up, and I was so math and science. So she's far better with words. But she is expecting a baby that's due probably any day now. So I did not want to bother her with editing this. So I edited this as good as possible. So I'm thinking the grammatical errors are gone here. But this workbook is fantastic. It shows you everything that we're going to be covering in the next 4 days. Tonight is music theory. And it's got great diagrams. For example, we're going to talk about the musical alphabet. We're going to talk about notes on the fretboard. We're going to talk about musical keys today. Nashville number system, even a great scale exercise. I'm going to talk about this more with our prize tonight, but definitely take advantage of this. If you want to print it out, put it on your iPad, computer, whatever it is. It also gives you areas to write notes. If you want to print it out and write notes, you totally can. It's 43 pages, so maybe print it out in black and white, but have fun with that. Okay. If you do find any errors, let me know, and I'm happy to re-upload it. And then, of course, we've got the Facebook community, so join that group. Now, this is pretty exciting. Again, I don't want to waste too much time on this. I'll talk more about this in the coming days, especially the last day before I leave you all. But if you click on this, this will take you to a wait list to my all access membership, to online courses, community group, Q&A sessions, everything. And you can actually look at this to see everything that's going to be offered here. And if you click on all courses, you can actually check out all of the courses that are already up. This might be crazy to hear, but please do not buy these courses. Please do not buy these courses from me yet. I will say yet, okay? If you want to, go for it. If you want to buy them and work on them tonight, that's awesome. Go for it. But I will say I'm actually going to be offering every single person in this boot camp an absolutely ridiculous deal on all of this combined with ton more stuff. So if that's interesting to you, wait till the last day. If you want to buy them now, go for it, but definitely wait till that last day. I'm going to be opening up for a limited time, just a crazy deal for you to take advantage of absolutely everything in there. But I'm excited. A bunch of new stuff coming up. 2025 just going to be a great year. I'm really excited for everything. Let me see how I get out of the hang on guys, I want to get out of the live or the screen sharing here. Okay, testing this out, make sure okay, we got it. This is a little story time. When I taught my very first I think it was my first live masterclass, like a group setting. It was one of the first. It was a platform I had never taught on before. And I thought I was screen sharing, and I thought I hit finish screen sharing, but I hit finish like the session. And we were probably like 8 minutes in, and I just completely closed down the session, and it was terrible. So I hope, praise God, they were able to hop back in there, but it was embarrassing. I thought that was going to happen tonight. It did not. We're still here. We're still good. Okay, awesome. Okay, so, and if you guys have questions on any of this, you can put it in the comments, and I'll do what I can to respond to it at the end of the session. Yeah, but so much fun stuff coming up. It's great. I will say there are prizes. I will be giving away, I'm actually going to be giving away online courses. So I know I'm going to be offering all these courses later on, but I am going to give away some courses in the coming days. I'm actually going to give away a course probably tomorrow during the day. But the course that I'm actually going to give away, let me show you the course I am giving away tonight/tomorrow. I know I just turned up the screen sharing, but I'm going to be giving away my Music Theory Made Easy course because we're talking music theory tonight. I'm going to be talking about a lot of music theory tonight, but this course has so much in it. It's fantastic. And you can actually click each of these courses to kind of check out what they're about. There's 30 of them, so it takes a while to get through. But it shows you just the stuff that's it's included in the course. It also allows you to preview some stuff. But this music theory course, I designed this to make this like the least confusing music theory course available, but yet still hitting all of the important topics. I'm very, very excited about it. So somebody's going to win this. I'm going to explain how you actually win this, okay? If you want to win the music theory course, I'm giving away one tonight/tomorrow. I'll probably announce it tomorrow. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to announce it tomorrow during the live. But if you want to win, it's very simple. You are going to download your workbook, and you're going to go to, and I'm going to actually explain this this whole tab exercise. I'm going to explain this during the bootcamp tonight. You're going to video yourself. I know this might sound scary for people who've never done this before, but you're going to video yourself. You're going to post a video of yourself playing this exercise. This is a major scale exercise in the circle of fifths. I will explain this exercise and actually do it for you live tonight, and you can have it recorded. You can copy what I'm doing. I'm also going to explain just the reading of tab if people aren't familiar with that. But you're going to do this exercise. I have the circle of fifths in sharp keys. I also have them in flat keys. You can do one or the other. You can do both. It does not matter. You can literally go through the first one and like that's all you go through, and that's totally fine. I just want to see the effort. Effort to me is more important than perfection in the very beginning of what we're doing. So if you post any video of yourself doing any of this exercise, I will put those names randomly and pick somebody out randomly in there, okay? Now, if you want to knock yourself out and do all of them, go for it, please. That makes me so happy. So if you post a video, the cutoff time will, I will explain it, but I think the cutoff time tomorrow will be like right up to the next live. So even if you want to do this tomorrow sometime, you can do it. But I will be drawing somebody at random that posts a video of themselves to the Facebook group doing that exercise. Yes, the major scale exercise. And I'll put on the email tonight, we'll explain the deal with that. I know that doesn't give you a ton of time to do that exercise, but I think it's great. I love practicing. I'm such a guitar nerd. I love practicing. I love theory. I love the boring stuff that's usually not attractive to people, but I love it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get in here. Again, this is recorded. If you have to leave at any time, you can. I will be sending out an email tonight with replay, rules on the giveaway, how you can get that music theory. I'm going to send out the link to the waitlist if you're interested in the Guitar Academy. Everything. Okay. Here we go. You guys ready to learn? Are we ready to learn something today? I'm so excited for this. Okay. We are talking music theory. We are talking music theory, and I wanted to start off with this one because I think it is the most important thing, because music is a language. We're going to talk a lot about that today. But I also want to start with this because this is usually such a turnoff. I love teaching things that are a turnoff to people. It's usually such a turnoff when you sign up for a guitar lesson and then they start teaching you theory. I truly believe one of my main goals as a guitar teacher is not just to teach you something, it's to help you fall in love with that. So I really do hope tonight, not only do you learn about music theory, but you're actually like, oh my gosh, I didn't know music theory was so attractive. I didn't know it was so fetching. I love music theory now. So I really hope that I tell all my students when I teach my in-person masterclasses, this is something I say a lot. I don't want to just teach you the guitar. I really want to help you fall in love with it. So tonight, I don't want to just teach you music theory. I want to help you fall in love with music theory. Okay. Now tonight if you have the workbook out and you want to have that out while I'm teaching, that's awesome. I'm going to be screen sharing a lot of the diagrams that are in that workbook together when we're looking through them. But the thing that we're going to be talking about tonight, we're going to be talking about how music theory is actually a language, how it's communication. That's something that's really not talked about a lot. Theory is really not taught a lot to guitar players. Most guitar teachers don't really teach theory. I'm going to talk about the main pillars of music theory. The main pillars of music theory that we're going to talk about tonight is the musical alphabet, musical keys, the major scale, the national number system or diatonic chords, and we're just going to touch on a little bit of rhythm. We don't have to touch on a ton of it tonight, but just enough to let you do what you want to do with music. When I teach music theory, I always make sure that the student understands, and if you study with me or even in this masterclass, you will learn very quickly. I am not okay with confusion when we learn music. If you ever have a guitar lesson or really any music lesson and you leave confused, or there was something chaotic about it, or something did not make sense, I think it was taught the wrong way. There is a divine order. There are naturally occurring rules to everything that we learn in music. It is so clear. And I really believe it can be taught in a way where there is nothing confusing. And the way that I teach, I always I layer on to what we learned before. So that way, if there is something that's a little shaky, we can go back that step. Learning anything in music, whether it's the guitar, the piano, or just theory, whatever it is, learning anything in music should be like you are literally at the bottom of a flight of stairs, and you walk one step, and then the next step, and then the next. That way, if that next step is a little shaky, just go back to where you were before, make sure we really have a solid foundation, and then build upon that. I feel like there's, especially in the guitar teaching world today, it's so oversaturated. It's really hard to see what the next step is. We see these YouTube videos that we play at random, and we're missing steps. We want to learn a blues lick, so we watch this YouTube video. We've not even learned a major scale or a pentatonic scale. We don't know how the blues scale came about. It is so important and that is why I designed these courses the way that I did design them. We'll get into that later. But everything you learn should be building upon what you learned previous. Okay. But those are the main pillars we're going to be looking at tonight. Another thing that I tell my students when learning music theory, anytime you learn anything with music theory, or I will also put in fretboard theory. We're going to talk about fretboard theory tomorrow as well. It should be like planting a seed. Okay. And please give yourself grace and patience when you learn music theory. If you plant a seed in your backyard right now, I live in Florida, so you can plant things like year long. I'm realizing now it's like January, so you probably wouldn't, nothing would grow. I know that defeats the purpose of what I'm about to say, but if you plant a seed, nothing will pop out of the ground overnight. That would be weird if it probably did. Okay. But if you water that seed, you nurture it, you give it sun, and you consistently care for that seed, something is going to pop out of the ground. So the things that we're going to be talking about tonight, if you go to bed tonight and you're like, okay, I understand. I kind of get what she was saying, but like it didn't stick. Like I don't know how I'm going to use it yet. I don't know everything about it. Music is a language. We're going to continue watering the seed and nurturing the seed and comprehending this and hearing it and speaking it. And over time, something will pop out of the ground. So please give yourself grace when you are learning music theory. Another thing you will not hear me say is memorize. Memorize this, memorize that. Music is a language. And I believe people get frustrated with learning the guitar. They get frustrated with learning music theory, and they plateau in their learning of any instrument because they are not understanding that we're actually learning a language. If we're learning a language, we want to focus on the fluency of that language. We also want to recognize there's an alphabet to this language. There are so many people that are taking guitar lessons for years. They're learning a language for years, and they've never even learned the alphabet of that language. So that will give, again, I think grace is such an important aspect of life, but give yourself grace and patience with doing this, because this is a language. I say this quite a bit. I prefer formula and fluency over forced memorization. You will very rarely hear me say, memorize this. We're going to look at things tonight. You don't need to memorize any of it. We need to learn the formula behind it and then become fluent in that formula. Also, I speak English. I'm assuming some of the people in here speak English because I see English comments right now. There are 26 letters in the English language, which we were able to learn as a young child. If you can learn, and English is actually a difficult language if you study other languages. My sister is very gifted in all different languages and tongues, and I remember her explaining how the English language is more difficult than it actually is if you study that. If we as children were able to understand and learn the 26 letters of the English alphabet, and we now speak that fluently, there's only 12 notes in music. That's less than half of the amount of letters in the English alphabet. There is no reason why we cannot speak this fluently. Okay? I don't care if you tell me I'm tone deaf. I don't have perfect pitch. I don't have relative pitch or anything like that. I don't have rhythm. I don't care about any of that. I truly believe every person has the ability to speak the language of music, and I will go to my grave saying that. Okay? So, I'm excited to get into this tonight. Let's talk music theory. Again, if you have questions on anything I'm going over tonight, I will leave time at the end for a Q&A. So probably what's going to happen is if you put your question in right now, hopefully nobody has questions right now, but if you do put your question in like in real time, I'll have to scroll through it. So I would wait till I maybe write it down if you're going to forget it. Guys, I have to write everything down. I forget everything. Just wait till that last bit and I'll say, Q&A time. What questions do we have? Okay. But let's get into it for tonight. I want to talk about the musical alphabet. I am going to screen share bits of this. I think everything that I'm going to be screen sharing is in the workbook. If for some reason I pull something up that's not in the workbook and I realize that, I will put files up in the Facebook group and all that stuff. So I want to first talk about the musical alphabet. Music is a language. Music is communication. There is an alphabet to this. The musical alphabet is very simple. It's 7 letters. The musical alphabet is 7 letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There is no H. Okay. Now we're all, hopefully, I think in here, I shouldn't say hopefully, it's okay if we've got other musicians in here, but I think most of us in here are guitar players. So what I want to do here is I want to actually screen share the musical alphabet in relation to the guitar. So we're going to be looking at this a ton tomorrow night. Oh, you know what? I didn't even say that. Tonight is music theory. Tomorrow is fretboard formulas. Wednesday, the third day, is the cage system, and Thursday, the fourth day, is going to be scales and improvisation. Music theory tonight, fretboard formulas tomorrow, cage system is the third day, and then scales and improvisation. It's going to be a great week. I'm so excited. So let me show you this while we talk about the musical alphabet. Okay, so we might have seen something like this before. We're going to look at this a lot tomorrow in our fretboard formulas class. I always tell my students, if I show you a diagram, if I show you a PDF, 2 things. 1, this will be sent to you, or you probably already have it if you have your workbook, okay? 2, you don't need to memorize it. If you need to memorize something, I will say the word memorize, but you don't need to memorize any of this. If you ever have a guitar teacher tell you to memorize anything on here, please go run the other direction. That is not how this works. This is a language, fluency, and formula over forced memorization. So what we have here, we have a lot of notes. This can look intimidating. We have the high E string up here. We have the low E string or string 6 here. These are the notes of the open strings, and this is the nut of the guitar. If this looks confusing to you, you can actually take a guitar and place it face up in your lap and look straight down on it. It will look like this. When we get to the 12th fret, that's why the 12th fret has the 2 dots on it, it's the exact same notes as the notes of the open string, okay? The musical alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, those 7 letters. Now, we have 12 notes in music. We have a total of 12 notes, yet we have these 7 letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So how do we get 12? There will be a sharp or a flat. A sharp, I used to say the pound sign, now I have to say hashtag. Looks like the hashtag if we're completely new to music. The flat is, let me go to the next page. Looks like this, it's like a little B. So we have sharps and we have flats. We have a sharp or a flat in between every single letter note, except there's only 2 places where we will never see a sharp or a flat, in between B and C and E and F. No sharp or flat in between B and C, no sharp or flat in between E and F. Okay, now you can say E sharp is F or F flat is E. I understand that, but we're not getting into that, okay? If you need to transpose like WC, you'll get into that, but we don't need to get into it. Now, the way we can think about sharps is if we start on a note, like let's say I start on this note F, which is the first fret of this low E string, and I go up by 1 fret, which would be a half step. A half step is 1 fret. A whole step would be 2 frets. If I go up a half step, I can think about that as F sharp. Now let's say I'm on the note G and I go up a half step, that would be G sharp. If I was on the note G and kind of think going backwards, that is flat. That would now turn into a G flat. So you could say the note G flat and F sharp are actually the same note. The word we have for that is enharmonic. F sharp and G flat are enharmonic of each other. So there is an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and there is a sharp or a flat in between every single letter note, except the 2 places of B and C and E and F. Sometimes knowing you have the ability of doing something is more important than just straight up doing it perfectly or memorizing it. Right now, if you know the note of any of these open strings, which if you've tuned your guitar before, you're probably familiar with some of these open strings. If you know the note of the open string and you go through the cycle of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you know there's a sharp or a flat in between everything except B and C and E and F, you have the ability of figuring out where any note is on the fretboard. Okay, we're going to talk about exercises with this tomorrow. Tomorrow's all about fretboard identification. I just wanted to show you how the notes of the musical alphabet are on the guitar. So if this note is the E, if this string is the E string, I go straight from E to F. Then I would have F sharp, then G, G sharp A sharp B, straight to C, C sharp D, D sharp E. When you get to that 12th fret, you've got it. That is the same note as the open string. It's what we refer to as the note an octave higher, which is the exact same note, but it is it's the next series. It is a higher pitch than what we started as. So you have the ability of understanding where any note is by using this little formula. We're going to talk about more of these formulas later, but that is a great thing to know. Okay. Now, I do notes of the fretboard diagrams a little bit differently. I actually do separate diagrams of just sharps and just flats. Sometimes when you see these diagrams online, it's like F sharp slash G flat or G sharp flat slash A flat. The reason for this is we're going to talk about keys today. When we play in certain keys, we are either playing, excuse me guys, I had a horrible sinus infection last week and I am like, sorry, let me get a sip of tea here. Sorry guys. Don't you love live stream? This is great. Okay, here we go. Anyway, when we are playing songs are in certain keys. We have keys that only use sharps and we have keys that only use flats. So if I was playing a song like in the key of D, which is actually a sharp key, which we'll talk about, I'm going to be thinking this. If I'm playing a song in the key of like B flat, which is a flat key, I'm going to be thinking this. Now, don't let this freak you out. Don't think we have to be thinking notes at all right now. We do not. We do not at all. I'm going to be talking about this concept a lot when I talk the day 3 on the cage system. Let me get out of here so you can see my face. Sometimes when I'm trying to say something and I know you can't see me, it's awkward. But I'm going to be talking about this a lot during the cage system session. I am not a teacher, even though I love me some music theory. I do not tell you to just think about the notes all the time. I actually teach the guitar in a 3-layer process. I think this is what makes me a little bit different. I will talk about this in depth with the cage system. But the first layer, or the first step of teaching the guitar for me with a student, cage system related, is great with this. The first step is shape-based, where we think shapes. We're going to think cage system shapes, and I'll get into this with scales. We'll get into this more of this later. The second step is scale degree numbers, which we'll talk about. And then the third step is actually plugging in the actual notes. I will explain that more in depth on day 3 with the cage system and day 4 with scales. But please don't think I'm going to be even for this major scale exercise for the prize, you can just play the tab. You don't have to really be thinking about the notes that you're playing just yet. The reason for that, and this is why guitar players, sometimes it's like a joke, like, oh, the guitar player is the one in the band that doesn't know the notes. Because you can do things shape-based, but as guitar players, we do need to give ourselves grace with this, because now I am not saying that playing the piano is easy or it's an easy instrument to master. Not at all. But to produce a sound on the piano, you need a finger and gravity. Again, I'm not offending pianists at all. That is not my intention. But to produce a sound, or a good quality sound on the guitar, we take the soft flesh of our finger. If you remember the first time you touched a guitar, fretted a guitar, we take the soft flesh of our finger, we place it on a string, and a steel string, and then press it against a piece of wood. That is not an easy thing. So sometimes we need to get this under the fingers first. Play bass that I love it. So I'm looking at some of these comments. They're great. I got to read through all these later tonight. But we need to have grace with this. We need to get things under the fingers first and kind of get the guitar, like figure out how this works. And then we can plug in more of the theory aspect to this as well. So we'll talk more about that with the cage system, but hopefully that just clarified some things with the notes on the fretboard. We'll talk a lot fretboard theory tomorrow. But those are the notes of the musical alphabet. We're going to jump into musical keys. Again, if you have questions, I will be doing a Q&A here at the end. Guys, we have over 100 people in here. This is insane. Oh, all you nerdy people like here. I love it. I love it. If you know me, if you've never met me before, never learned from me before, it wasn't long that you discovered that I was a nerd. Okay, guys, I'm such an introvert and I am such a nerd. It's funny. I play at Disney and I do like, it's like they like want to push like the blonde chick playing the rock guitar and all that. Those people have no idea. I am such an introverted nerd. I'd never done like those kind of shows before, and like I have to MC the show. I worked with a producer and I had to like learn how to turn this introvert like stuff on and off. It's just so funny. Anyway, let's keep it going. Let's talk the second pillar of music theory. Let's talk musical keys. Okay. Now, we might have heard what a musical key is. You might have at least maybe heard like, oh, this song is in the key of C. This song is in the key of G. You may have heard that before. You may know what it means. You may never heard that, or you may not know what it means at all. What I find is some things with music are actually really simple to understand, but when you like Google the definition, it makes it way more complicated and then you get more confused. Again, nothing should be confusing. So I want to explain my definition of a musical key. This might even if you understand this a little bit, this might make it make more sense. I'm all about making things make sense. Life is confusing enough. Nothing we're learning tonight should be confusing. So a musical key, like if I said we're playing a song in the key of C, we're playing a song in the key of B flat. A musical key, I define this as it is the musical environment or ecosystem, the musical environment or musical ecosystem in which a song is living in. I might be weird. If you've probably realized this by now, I'm not a normal guitar teacher. I have some really weird ways, bizarre ways of explaining some things. I think of songs as actual living things because I always say we want to be in control of what we're doing, but we want to serve the song. I want to serve something that's actually alive. So it might be weird, but I think of songs as living things. So a musical key is a musical environment or ecosystem in which the song is living in, okay, in which the song has been created in. If we think about our world, there's different environments, there's different ecosystems. There's a different set of rules that everything needs to abide by so that life can thrive and survive in different environments or ecosystems. In a musical key, or musical environment or musical ecosystem, the set of rules that everything in that song has to abide by is that key's major scale. So if a song is in the key of C, that means that everything in the song, the notes of the vocal melody, the notes of the bass line. I saw we've got a bassist in here. I love this. Love it. The notes that the piano player is playing, the notes that the guitar player is playing, the chords, the notes that are making up the chords of the song. Those are all coming from the notes of the C major scale. That is what a musical key is. Okay, I think that's a pretty good definition, or a pretty good, at least, metaphor to help explain that. Now, we're going to talk about keys. We're going to talk, or the major scale, what that actually is. But hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. So if a song is in the key of G, that means every note in that song is coming from the G major scale. And again, I'm going to talk about what this major scale actually is. I will say, everything that we're going to be looking at tonight, everything that I just said there, there's naturally occurring rules in music. Again, everything in music has a formula. It has a divine order to it. When you start studying music, it honestly, like, it saves you. It is the most beautiful thing when, like, you see these patterns and formulas, and it just makes so much sense. There's naturally occurring rules in music. However, music is a creative realm, and we have artists that break these rules. Thank God, because it makes things very exciting. But as Picasso said, know the rules like a professional so you can break them like an artist. So everything that we're going to be talking about tonight, and really for the majority of these 4 days, we're going to be using what we refer to as diatonic music, or music in the diatonic realm, which means it's a fancy word for basically saying no rules have been broken. So if we are playing a song in the key of C, every note in that song is coming from the 7 notes of the C major scale. And again, we don't even need to think about what notes are in these scales. Just trust me with this. However, we will have songs later on in life. You'll understand this. You might already. For example, that break rules. For example, the song Imagine by John Lennon is a great song to study because that song is in the key of C, but he uses the note G sharp in the chorus, which that's outside of the key. That is not in the key of C. That is not in the 7 notes of the C major scale. A rule has been broken. So we need to make sure that we're setting the solid foundation of music in the diatonic realm where no rules have been broken, that we understand the natural occurring rules in music. And what happens again, is the part of the reason why I did this boot camp was there's so many guitar players that end up plateauing later on in life, or realizing they had so much that they never learned. It's because we need to learn, set the solid foundation of these naturally occurring rules, so then we know how to break them. Okay. And it's very exciting because there's rules to breaking these rules, and it is such a beautiful thing. Okay. So that is how I define musical keys. Hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. Love to see that this is helping. Okay, so let's talk about the major scale, okay? Because I said, if something's in the key of C, that means everything in that song is coming from the notes of the major scale. So let's talk about the major scale, okay? Let me show you this here first, and then this will make things a little bit easier. Okay, let me actually say this first, and then I'll screen share. This, what I'm about to show you is, in a way, it's in your, this is in the workbook. I'm going to show you something called the circle of fifths. Now, you might have heard of the circle of fifths before. I teach it a little bit differently. Again, I teach things like backwards. Sometimes it's weird. The circle of fifths is basically a way of just organizing our keys to help them make more sense. It's also a good way to practice our keys. The circle of fifths basically means we take the key of C, and we start with the key of C because the notes in the C major scale don't have sharps or flats, but we start with that. And then we go up a fifth, C, D, E, F, G to G. And we go up another fifth, G, A, B, C, D, go up another fifth. We do this order of fifths because every time you go up by a fifth, you're actually adding a sharp to the notes of that major scale. Now, I'm going to show you my version of the circle of fifths. You do not need to memorize anything. You do not need to leave this. Well, I'm not holding you accountable to anything. You don't have to. You could be turning this off right now. You're like, she's getting too much into theory. I don't want to do this. But you don't have to memorize any of this, not just for the sake of this boot camp, but you don't have to memorize any of this right now in your guitar journey. You do not need to know the notes of these major scales yet, because we've not even talked shapes. So what I'm about to show you is really more of a reference or a guide. What I'm about to show you, please don't let this freak you out thinking I have to memorize all this. Not at all. Okay. The concept of this is the most important thing. The formula of this is the most important thing. The eventual fluency is the most important thing. It is not memorizing this. So I see some questions popping up. So do we have to memorize the scales and notes? No, you do not. Okay. I know that might be crazy to say. I have some bizarre methods. The concept over everything with this. So I want to explain this circle of fifths. Now, the circle of fifths is normally done in a circle where you can actually see the circle. I have found that guitar players think a little bit better with fretboard things like boxes and grids. So what I've done is I have made the circle of fifths into a box or grid or matrix. We're going to look at that here now, as soon as okay, here we go. Guys, I was so sick last week and I was like, I had, my voice was terrible. I had sinus stuff going on and I'm like, I cannot cancel this boot camp. And just, my gosh, praise God. I have a voice. It's amazing. I'm not going to cancel it. We're good. Okay. So what I have here, this is in the workbook, but I have them side by side, not up and down. This is just a bigger PDF for me to screen share here. This is the circle of fifths. This is how all of the keys and their scales are in music. Okay. Again, don't have to memorize any of this. It's the concept of this is the most important thing. So what we have here, we have two boxes or charts. We have the first one that says sharp keys. The bottom one are the flat keys. Very simply, sharp keys, I said this a little bit earlier, sharp keys are keys that actually use sharps. Flat or hashtags. Flat keys are keys that use flats or the notes have a little B next to them. Let's look at the sharp keys first. Don't have to memorize any of this. I'm starting with the key of C major. And let me say this here before we dive into this. There are a total of 12 notes in music. There's a total of 12 frets on the fretboard that gets us through our entire 12-note series. And then the guitar repeats itself. We'll talk a ton about that tomorrow. Fretboard formulas. Love it. There are 12 notes in music. There is a key for each note. Okay, so every note we have in music, that A, B, C, D, E, F, G, sharp or flat in between everything except E and F and B and C, there is a key for each one of those. Now, if you count all of these, you're going to get more than 12. The reason for that, there's two C's, because I'm going to start with C major for the sharp keys and C major for the flat keys, but we also have enharmonics. We have F sharp major, which is actually the same as G flat. Now, I think the one in the workbook might have F sharp in bold. I have put the ones in bold that are primarily referred to as these names. For example, C sharp is very rarely used for C sharp. And these are just major keys. We're not talking about minor at all right now. C sharp is usually referred to as D flat. They are enharmonic. They're technically the same. Okay. G flat used to be primarily what we would refer to as F sharp. It used to just be G flat because G flat does not, I should say F sharp has an E sharp in it, which that's really why you shouldn't really refer to things as F sharp. But we have so many genres and styles and songs that are now written and composed by guitar players, and guitar players think left to right. They think low to high. They think sharps. So that's why we're seeing F sharp. The one in the workbook, F sharp might be a bold, but it's good to know both of those. Okay. But in total, we technically have 12 here. Okay. So I'm going to start with the key of C. I'm going to start with the key of C major, and the first column here are the actual order in fifths. If I start with C and I go up a fifth, C, D, E, F, G, G, A, B, C, D, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, E, F, G, A, B. And then what if I go up a fifth from B, I have an F sharp, not an F. The reason why I have an F sharp is because the fifth note of B major is actually an F sharp. So if I go up to the fifth of that, it turns an F sharp, and then I get into C sharp. Okay. Now I'm going to go over the flat keys as well, but even if you're doing that major scale exercise for the prize, even if you just want to do a few of these, if you just want to do the sharps, I'm totally fine with that. You don't need, I'm saying I'm totally fine with that as long as I'm grading this, guys. I'm such a teacher. I'm so sorry. I try to be such a rock star and it never happens. I am a nerdy teacher through and through. Oh my gosh. I do like these master classes like all over the country, and I'm supposed to refer to them as like breakout session or workshop. And I will always call it class or lecture. And it's like, It's just a nerdy. Who wants to come to a guitar lecture? It just sounds, what a turnoff. Okay, anyway, I digress. So, so if I start with the key of C, that has 0 sharps. The second column is the actual number of notes in that key or that are sharp or flat. So I've got 0 sharps for the key of C. And then the next 7 columns are the notes in that key's major scale. They are the notes of that key. And I'm going to show you a little formula here that's actually very simple. But if I'm in the key of C, I have these 7 notes and that's it. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. The 7 notes of every key are going to be the 7 letters starting on the letter of the key that you're in. So for example, the 7 notes of the C major scale, this is the C major scale, 7 letters in the musical alphabet order starting on C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. The 7 letters, and notice, I'm not even talking about sharps yet. Let's not even talk about it yet. The 7 letters of the G major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. The 7 letters of the E major scale, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. They are in the order. They are 7 letters in the order, starting with the letter of the key that you're in, or starting with the note of the key that you're in. If I was going to play F sharp major, I'm starting with F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, I'm going to talk about sharps here in just a second, but those are how we get the actual 7 letters, okay? Let's talk about sharps and the flats and all of this fun stuff. The reason why we're doing this in fifths is to help us understand what notes are sharp and what are not, okay? What I'm about to say here, you do not need to memorize. Again, we're actually, when we talk about our scales, we're thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for a lot of this stuff. We're not thinking G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, not at all. Later on down the road, that'd be a great thing to memorize. We do not need to memorize this right now, okay? But I want you to understand this concept. If you're playing a song that is in the key of D, okay, With or Without You by U2 is in the key of D. If I'm playing that song and I want to solo over that song, I'm going to use the notes in the key of D, which is the D major scale. I'm going to use D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp to solo over that song. And that's going to sound really good because it's all part of it. It's what the song is living in. It's what this right here, these 7 notes are the rule that with or without you, every note in that song is abiding by this rule. Okay? That is the concept that I want you to understand. Now, I don't need to memorize that right now. But if I was improvising over With or Without You and I Google that and it's, this song is in the key of D, these are the 7 notes that I'm going to use. Now, this is where the cage system and fretboard formulas will come into play because, okay, great. I can use a D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp to solo with or Without You. That's a lot to find. If I was trying to find every D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, that's a lot to find. That's where the cage system comes in. And that is where we get the breakthrough on our Wednesday night class. Okay. Now, back to this. Yeah, it got back there. Sorry, I've got a little delay here, just making sure. Perfect, we're on it. So that is the concept I want you to understand. When a song is in a certain key, these are the 7 notes that are used, okay? Slow Dancing in a Burning Room by John Mayer is in the key of E major. Some people say C sharp minor. If you've been in these master classes with me, you know I will argue this all day long because it resolves to E, but I digress. If I wanted to improvise with Slow Dancing in a Burning Room by John Mayer, which is in the key of C sharp minor or E major, we'll talk about that a little bit later. These are the 7 notes I can use. Now again, tonight is not about figuring out where these are on the fretboard. We're going to be talking all about that to make that really easy. The concept is the most important thing. Okay? Now, there is a little formula here. You don't need if like this was enough major or keys and major scale stuff for you, you can plug your ears on this. But I do want to show this to you just because I couldn't sleep at night if I left this out. This is how my masterclasses turn into too long because I want to share everything with you. That's why another reason why I needed to make these courses, because like I can't just share everything. People would be sitting here forever. But there is a formula to this. Everything is formula and fluency over forced memorization. There are 3 steps to finding the notes in any key. Let's say I want to find the notes of E major scale. I want to figure out what these notes are. Step 1, find these 7 letters. Don't even think sharps or flats or anything. Find these 7 letters starting on the root, which is the note of the key. Okay, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. That is step 1. E, F, G, A, B, C, D. That's it. Step 2, whatever notes were sharp, in the previous key or above, you're carrying those over. So I had a C sharp, an F sharp, a G sharp. Let me sharp those: C sharp, F sharp, G sharp. Step 3, you sharp the 7th note. That is how you get the notes of any major scale for your sharp keys. Step 1, just think those 7 letters. And again, you don't have to memorize this. This is just extra. If you want to know how this works, find the 7 letters starting on the root: E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Step 2, carry over any notes that were sharp in the previous key, which is above. So the key of A had 3 sharps. Let me cover those: C sharp, F sharp, G sharp. Step 3, sharp the 7th. That's it. Now, you don't need to know that. The main takeaway here is if a song is in the key of G, these are the 7 notes that are used in that song. Now, you will come across some songs that are not diatonic, that break rules. Totally fine. Imagine by John Lennon is in the key of C, but he borrows a G sharp. We can talk about that another time, but we're thinking diatonic first. Let's not get carried away just yet. That is the concept I want you to understand, okay? Now, for flat keys, it's pretty much the same idea here, only you're carrying over flats rather than sharps, you're flatting rather than sharping, and the scale degree number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's referred to as a scale degree number. The note that you're flatting is the 4th rather than sharping the 7th. Okay. Now, another big thing with your flat keys, this is actually the circle of fourths. It will go up by a 4th. C to an F is a 4th. Then I add 1 flat to the 4th. Okay. So I always say if sometimes the flat keys can seem like that's a little bit more difficult, understand this formula for sharp keys, begin to get this down. And honestly, these are really the more common keys, especially for music on the guitar. Guitar players like just thinking sharps rather than flats because we've been programmed to think like when I learn my power chords or chromatic scales or anything like that, shifting everything up the neck of the guitar, going with sharps rather than flats. It's great to know all of this, but my stance on music theory is you need to know what you need to know to do what you want to do. You might not have the goal of sight reading music for the guitar. You don't need to know that, but we just need to know enough to speak the language. So if I said, and we will actually use this song for the final night, I'm going to show you Let It Be by the Beatles. That song's in the key of C. So that means I'm going to use these notes to solo with. That means everything in that song is coming from these 7 notes in the key of C. That's great. That's the main concept here. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to leave, will there be these 2 formulas written somewhere? Actually, yeah. So what I'll do, that's actually a good question. Let me write that here on my end, just so I don't forget that. Guys, I got to write everything down. Hang on. I'm going to put major scale or circle. I'm going to put circle of fifths formula or keys formula. I'll put that in the Facebook group. I actually have one of these. I actually have a blank one of these that just has like this part written and everything else is blank. I have a blank one with the formulas written on top, like step 1, 2, 3, 4 that I talked about to fill in your keys. I have a blank one. I don't think it's in the workbook, but I will put that up tonight in the Facebook group. Okay. So you can actually practice that if you want. Love it. Yeah. And I think when I archive this video, I get access to all the comments. So I will go through, if there have been things that you guys have been asking for, let me know. I love it. I will look at that next time. I tell all of my students this. Let me actually give us a break from this because you guys are like probably nerding out too much with me. We'll give you a break from looking at that so I can talk to you for a second and then we'll get back into it. Don't worry. We're not done with our nerdy stuff. But I tell all my students this might sound weird, but I am not married and I don't have kids yet. I'm an aunt, but I do not have children of my own and I'm not married. Hopefully that will happen for me one day by the grace of God, but it has not happened yet. But I tell all my students, you're all my children. I know that sounds so weird because I have students that are much older than me, but you guys are all my children. I'm your guitar mom. So if there are any resources that I don't have for you that you're like, you know what, Kaylin, I learn a little bit differently. This would be so perfect for me if you could map this out or you could write this out. Please let me know. Because as I said before, I have no hobbies outside of guitar. So I like fishing, but I very rarely get to fish. But I really have no hobbies outside of this. I love making resources. I live for it. Even I'm celebrating this creation of this online guitar academy. And to celebrate it, I want to do 4 free days of teaching. I love this stuff. So please, if there are any ideas that you have that you think would be great, let me know. I'm happy to make them. That's going to be something that this guitar academy is going to be about too, which I'm so excited. I'm going to offer this all access membership. and you'll have this lifetime access of letting me know like resources that I can create for you. I'm just so excited about it. So something like that, I will put that in there. I have, usually when students ask me for something, I already have it. So I do have that major key formula I'll show you, but please, if there's certain diagrams or anything that you think would be helpful, let me know. You can always DM me, email me. I'm happy to, you can post to the Facebook group. I'm happy to do that. Okay, guys, let's keep it going here. I know I said this is going to be over an hour. It is over. We're well over an hour now. Again, you're not going to offend me if you have to go to bed, but let's keep it going. We're going to talk about diatonic chords. I've got my Australian Shepherd in here and she is yawning. I think it's past her bedtime. She's going to bed. So if you hear some squeaks, she is yawning. So let's now talk about the major scale exercise. Okay. Now I said a little bit earlier, I'm not concerned with you guys memorize this. I don't want you to, honestly, it might sound weird. I don't want you to memorize this because we don't need that pressure on us right now. Cause we haven't even talked about how to really apply it so much on the fretboard yet. We don't need to think about it. But what I am going to show you is I'm going to show you an exercise of everything we just saw, all of our major scales in the circle of fifths in tab form. So you can actually play these major scales. And this is a great exercise too for just getting your fingers warm. It's great because it's using all of the fretting hand fingers. There are so many people that start off with the guitar and it's like a year till they actually use their pinky. Even when I teach kids, right off the bat, we use all 4 fingers because we want to have all of them grow and improve at the same rate. It is a very important thing to do. That would be like teaching somebody to walk and starting with just 1 foot. We want to start off like that. But anyway, so I'm going to show you this major scale exercise. Don't have to memorize it. You don't even need to be really thinking about the notes that you're playing. Sometimes the things that I say can sound contradictory. Oh, she's obsessed with theory, but she doesn't care about what notes I'm playing. I don't. 3-step process. We need to think like this major scale. I'm going to show you the finger positions. Focus on finger positions first. If you want to think about, oh, this is the key of C, great. But the purpose of this is for your ear to recognize what the major scale sounds like. For your ear to understand, wow, these notes all actually do sound good together. I have no idea what notes I'm playing, but they sound really good together. Now you can take this a step further, what we're about to do, and you can actually open up like a notes to the fretboard PDF that I've given you and actually see the notes that you're playing. Like, oh, I was on 3rd fret, then 5th fret, then 2nd fret. Oh my gosh, those are the same letters that are in the boxes of the major scale circle of fifths diagram. So you can make it make sense. It doesn't have to make like total sense right now. You can get this under your fingers first. So let me show you this tab exercise. If you are, oh, Bianca, she doesn't name my dog. I love it. Starlight. Yeah, my dog's name is Starlight. If you guys are good, and if Starlight's still awake at the end of this, I will, I'll share her with, well, not share her with you. I will show you my dog, but let's keep it going here. Let me show you. So this again is the major keys, major scale. This is the exercise. Now I'm going to show this to you for, oh, hang on here. Sorry guys. I want to expand this. So yeah, where did it go? Where did you go on me? Hang on. Where did this, oh, guys, I'm so used to Zoom. I'm not, okay. We've got it on here. Okay, we're going to look at this guy here. Okay, the major scale. This is a major scale in the circle of fifths. This is actually everything that we saw here, but in tab form. Okay, this is in the workbook. I think it's page 11 and 12. I want to talk about just reading tab first. Probably, I hate assuming things, but probably a lot of people in here have read tab before. If you have not, it is such an easy way to read music. Now, some people that actually teach theory and stuff like rag on tab all the time, saying, don't learn tab, you're never going to learn theory. Guys, tablature's been around like since the lute, like in Renaissance time. It's a legit thing. It is a legitimate way of reading music for the guitar. I went to school for classical guitar. Now, it was a cardinal sin to read tab, but it's actually a legit way of reading music because there needs to be some grace. I'm all about giving grace. There needs to be grace given to tab reading because if someone was going to play middle C, and we'll talk about this tomorrow for performance, but if someone's going to play middle C on the piano, that is literally in one place. If you see middle C written on the guitar, that's actually in 5 different places. So it's important to know where they are on the guitar. So what this is a major scale exercise, but let's talk about tab reading first. Guitar tablature has 6 lines. Each line represents a string, okay? Just like how we had our diagram at the beginning, this tablature is notated as if you have your guitar and you place it face up in your lap, staring straight down on it. The bottom line is the low E string, the sonically lowest sounding string on the guitar, also referred to as string 6. The top line is the highest sonically sounding string on the guitar. It's the high E string, also referred to as string 1. The numbers are the frets that you're actually playing. So we can think about them as the boxes on the guitar or where the silver bars are. I will show you a close-up image or close-up video of myself playing this here in just a little bit. But that is tablature. Now, this standard tuning means we have a standard tuned guitar. This is the how fast we're playing it. BPM is 120. You can ignore that. This is just telling us that this is a C major scale that I'm playing. This GUIT means this is music for the guitar. TAB means that I'm reading tablature. And 4/4 is the time signature, which we're not going to talk too much about tonight. 4/4 basically means there are 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. In each measure of music. A measure is the section of music. That's what this little 1 is for. This means this is the first measure of music. This 2 means this is the second measure of music for this exercise. Now, the lines underneath here are the rhythmic value or notation. There is a rhythmic part of this PDF workbook. If you want to get, we might have time to get into that. We'll just see what we have time for. But you can ignore this completely right now. You can ignore these lines, this beam. That means that this is an eighth note. I tell students if some of that is a little bit too much right now, just focus on the 6 lines and the numbers, okay? That's all you really need to focus on, okay? Now, I wrote finger positions very terribly on this. Yours does not have this, but I wanted to just show you. Anytime we play anything on the guitar, and this is a huge reason why people end up learning the guitar the wrong way, they don't play things in position. They start off by reading tab by just trying to get, okay, a 3, let me place a finger on 3. Okay, a 5, let me place a finger on 5. We need to have strategy with the tab. The more you learn this without the guitar, the better you will play it with the guitar, okay? So if I look at this and I want to look at this entire measure, we want to keep our fingers in position, meaning in position means 1 finger per fret, so I don't have to shift my hand across the fretboard. To figure out what position my fingers will be in, meaning what finger goes on what fret, take the section of music that you're working on, which this would be just 1 measure. What is the smallest fret number? That is where the index finger goes. The smallest number that I'm going to play here is a 2, fret 2. That's where the index finger, is going to go. Then you're going to stack your fingers in position, meaning 1 finger per fret. Index on 2, then middle on 3, then ring on 4, then pinky on 5. So if you don't even need the finger positions written, if you can figure that out, and I will say it's the same finger position for every single exercise here. Okay. Now, take this super slowly. Take it 1 thing at a time. So we're going to do middle on 3 of this A string or the 5th string, then pinky on 5. I'm going to show this to you. Then index, middle, pinky, index, ring, pinky. Then you can think shape based in finger position and muscle memory first. Okay. I use the word memory. It's okay for muscle memory. Now, if you can do this anytime you read tab, you will read it so much more effectively and it will be far less frustrating. Instead of just doing things, okay, let me just get 3 down. Take it section by section, okay? So I'm going to show you this in the close-up shot here in just a little bit, but this first row is the C major scale. This is the C major scale. Now, if I go up a 5th to G, this is the G major scale. Notice, when I went up this 5th, it's the same thing. 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 4, 5, just directionally, it's directionally up a string. Okay. But it's sonically lower. Anytime you have tablature written or any music written like in notation, the lower sounding notes are written lower, the higher sounding are written higher. That's why the low E string is at the bottom. Okay. But it's the same finger positions for all of this. It's going to be middle, pinky, index, ring, pinky. Then I just go backwards. Middle, pinky, index, ring, pinky. It's the exact same thing over and over and over. That's all it is. Okay. So, I'm going to show this to you here, but this is just a tab of all of my keys. And they're actually the exact same notes. So let's say a C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. This 3 on the A string is the note C. The 5 is D. The 2 is E, F, G, A, B, C. You can actually see that each of these are the exact same note as what's in here. But you don't need to think about it. You can just think, let me just read the tab. Get it under the fingers. Just read the tab. The purpose of this exercise is to have your ear hear what a major scale sounds like. That these notes actually sound good together. It's also a great finger dexterity exercise. It's also good to know where this circle of fifths, these major scales are. That's great to know. Now, the purpose of this exercise is to not memorize all these notes. The purpose of this exercise is also not to use these scales to improvise with. These are just 1 octave scales, meaning this is just one location of the C major scale or one location of the G major scale. If I was soloing to Let It Be, which is in the key of C, if I was just using the notes right here, that doesn't give me a lot to solo with. That's what we're going to look at when we talk cage system, when we talk scales and improvisation. The purpose of this exercise here is not to be improvising with, okay? It's again, just this concept of, oh, when I'm in the key of C, these are the 7 notes that are in my song. This is what they sound like. Concept over everything right now, okay? The sharp keys is also attached. I'm going to do this for the flat keys, but you can do the sharp keys for the flat key. What did I just say? I'm going to do this for the sharp keys, but you can do this for the flat keys. I'm going to mix that up. Anyway, the flat keys with the key of C, I start this on the 8th fret just to like think you're going back down. Oh, love it. Finger explanation is fantastic. Good to hear. Good to hear. Okay, awesome. Yeah, you guys can write nice things in the comments too. I'm loving that. Okay, so let me get out of here and I'm going to actually zoom into a closer position. Let me get back. Okay, hang on here. Am I on? Okay. There we go. You can see me now. Okay, so what I'm going to show you, I'm actually going to do this tab exercise. Okay. So there's my dog. There she is. She woke up and then she's yawning. So funny. These Aussies are so energetic. Like I've never had a more energetic dog, but she is the laziest dog sometimes. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this finger position and I'm going to start with 3 and I'm going to do this I have index on 2, middle on 3, ring on 4, pinky on 5. I'm starting here on C. We don't have to worry about C. We can just read the tab for now. Just get out of the fingers first. If you want to go back later and say, okay, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, great, go for it. We don't need to do that now or anytime soon. Okay, so it's going to be middle, pinky, next string, index, middle, pinky, next string, index, ring, pinky. Then you can go backwards, which would be pinky, ring, index, pinky, middle, index, pinky, middle. Here is my C major scale. This is the first row of that of the circle of fifths thing. It's also the first row of my tab. And notice some of you guys might be pros in here. Some might be complete beginners. That's why I love this boot camp. So when you play, you might already know this, but when you play a note, make sure it's right behind the silver bar that it requires the least amount of pressure. Not back here, not back here. Very light. That's all you need right there. Okay. Now for the next one, I'm going to do that exact same thing, but now it starts here on the low E string. It's the same finger positions. Okay. Now the next one, which you could just read the tab for this, but when I go up a fifth, I go up 2 frets now, and I'm right here to D. This is my D major scale. Same finger positions, middle, pinky, index, ring, pinky. That's all it is. Then I go up a string. Okay, so that is my pattern. I start here on my C, go up a fifth. Now to go up a fifth from here, I go up 2 frets down a string. Now I go up 1. Now I go 2 frets down a string. That's where my roots or the first note of my scales are. And notice I'm doing this with the middle finger. 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, 7, 9, 9. Let's put all this together. Here I go. This is how I would actually practice this. I'm not even going to think about the Starlight Baby. Okay. Scratching something. Sorry. Again, I love the lives. This is great. Now, I'm going to practice this the way I would recommend you practicing this. I'm going to actually say the name of the key, the name of the scale. Not going to say the notes. Not going to worry about that. And it's the same finger position. So here we go. C major scale. G major scale. D major scale. A major scale. E major scale. B major scale. F sharp major scale. C sharp major scale, even though we really don't use that one, remember? Okay, now if you want, you could do the flats. The flats, I'm going to start on the C here, and I'm going kind of backwards. I'm going in fourths. Here it is. You can honestly just read the tab. C major scale. F major scale. B flat major scale. E flat major scale. A flat major scale. D flat major scale. G flat major scale. Then C flat major scale, which is just the B major scale here. But that's the tab exercise. So I don't even need to think about the notes that I'm playing. That's not the purpose of this. The purpose of this, I realize you can't see my face. Hang on here, and I will share what the purpose of this is. Looks like I'm scolding you. You just saw my finger. Turned to a Catholic school teacher there. Okay, the purpose of this is not to know all the notes you're playing or memorize. We're not using that word at all. The purpose of this is to hear the major scale sounds good together. This is what the key of C actually sounds like. This is what the key of C actually sounds like, or the key of G actually sounds like. And it's a great finger exercise. Maybe none of you have actually done an exercise with your pinky before. Maybe that's a great way to start. Now this is, if I was going to solo over the song Let It Be, and I have a C major scale, yeah, I could do that. I could do the notes in that, but that doesn't leave me a lot. We're going to talk about that later on. This is just one, think about this as just one option of where you can play the notes of your key. Okay. Now we're going to, again, I'll leave time at the end here for questions, but now I want to get to what will probably end up being the last section. There is if you did want to look at how to read rhythm with tab, I have a section on that in the workbook, but I think what I'll do is this last section will be the diatonic chords, the Nashville number system. Okay. So we're going to talk more about scales and improvisation after we do cage system, because we want to think shapes. But if you do want to enter that giveaway for the prize for the free music theory course, it's like almost a $200 value course. So $200 value course. So definitely take advantage of this if you want to win that course. Or you can wait till the last day where I'm giving quite a bit away for a pretty good deal. All you need to do is look at the major scale tab, circle of fifth exercises, page 11 and 12, or it's 12 and 13. Of your workbook, and just do any of it. I'm all about effort rather than just completion of all of this stuff. I just want to see effort from people. I think that's just the most attractive quality, when people are just showing up and doing it. You did it. I love it. You can do 2% of it. Yes, you tried it. You posted yourself playing. Maybe you've never done that before. I love it. I just love it when we break out of our comfort zone. You can do the entire thing. You can do just the sharps. You can do just the flats. You can do just the C major scale. Whatever it is, just putting effort into this is so great for me to see. So just post a video of yourself doing any of this in the Facebook group. No shame. And guys, honestly, this might sound crazy to hear. I don't care what these sound like. Okay. When I first started playing guitar, I sucked. I was so bad. It took me forever. I remember I was learning like some power chord song. It was some like Hillary Duff or Lizzie McGuire song, and it was like power chords, and I couldn't get it. It just sucked. My first lesson was awful. Now, the first song I ever played on the guitar, I tuned the guitar. I didn't know how to do anything with my hands with the guitar. I tuned the open strings so that I could play Here Comes the Sun with just open strings. That was the first thing I ever did on a guitar. But my first lesson was terrible. I sucked. I was horrible. So please give yourself grace with all of this. And if you do post, guys, encourage each other in the comments. I want this Facebook group is kind of like a precursor, or like to show you what eventually the Caitlin Guitar Academy community group is going to be like. I'm all about community over competition. I don't care where you guys are from. You guys might never meet in person, and It's just been a beautiful thing to see some of the people in my masterclass actually connect on Instagram or social media. So please build this community. So even if you think I'm going to sound really bad, post it. We're going to talk about how amazing you are, please. Now, obviously, it's everybody can improve. I completely agree with that, but this is a place for community. So, and the Caitlin's Guitar Academy community group is going to be way more than just what the Facebook group is offering, but this is just a good way to kind of get us started with building a community. So have fun with this. Post anything. Post 3 notes of it. I just want to see the effort. I love it. And don't think the one that's going to win is going to play everything. I'm literally going to, if you put any effort into it, I'm going to draw a name at random. Okay. I love you guys. I'm excited for this. So let's talk about diatonic chords, what that actually is. Okay. I'm going to screen share here. Let's talk about what chords you actually use in a song, or what chords actually work together. We see that these notes work together, right? Let me say here real quick. This is an Iconic guitar. This is a flame maple fretboard. Iconic guitar they actually made this custom for me. It was the greatest gift. It was just a true blessing when they contacted me saying they wanted to take me on as an artist and make me a custom guitar. Kevin Proctor of Iconic Guitar and Roxanne there, Scott, everybody is just amazing, that Iconic Guitar family, and I am so grateful to have teamed up with them, for them to team up with me. I was not expecting that. Iconic Guitar is amazing. This is the playability on this guitar. So I know I'm digressing here. We'll get into it in a second, but I used to be a rosewood neck girl my entire life. I love a rosewood neck. I love the warmth of that for everything. The Strat I have, my custom shop Strat, is a rosewood neck. I love rosewood. However, I love the speed of maple, and I've never been happy with the sound of a maple neck. It's just too bright for me. The high end is too much for me. And Kevin was talking with me about getting a roasted, and I've never seen a roasted maple look like this. Like, it looks like a tiger stripe. I've never seen anything like this, but this neck is honestly, like, I should A and B this with a recording sometime, but this neck is, I'm telling you, it's just as warm as my rosewood neck, but it is faster than any maple fretboard. It's just the perfect balance of both. It's Iconic. I cannot say enough good things about this guitar company. They're insane. Anyway, let's keep going. So let's talk about what chords actually work together in a song. When I'm playing a certain song, when I'm playing Sweet Home Alabama, how do those chords work together? When I'm playing With or Without You by U2, why do those chords sound good together? If I go half a step back or a fret back, that chord sounds terrible? Let's talk about what sounds good and why they sound good. Again, this is all about learning the actual rules. Okay. So I'm going to go back to, this here. Let me actually clear this up a bit here, guys. Okay, I want to go back to this for just a second. These are the 7 notes that are used in a key. So if I was playing a song in the key of C, these are the 7 notes that are used in the key, right? We've hopefully at least gotten that down. But what about the chords that are used in a key? If I was soloing over the song Let It Be, that's in the key of C, I can use these 7 notes. Great. But what are the chords that are used in Let It Be? What are the chords? If I was writing a song in a key of C, what are the chords that I use? These 7 notes are going to be the roots of my chords of the song. There are 2 things. What key is a solo in Sweet Home Alabama? So Sweet Home Alabama is actually D Mixolydian, which is also technically G major, but it resolves to D. I actually have a great online course on modes where I explain a lot of stuff. But that's actually written in a Mixolydian key, but you could say it's in technically G major, but it's resolving to the D, making it D Mixolydian. Sorry, I saw that question. I'm scatterbrained now. Gosh, don't get me started with modes. I love modes. I could teach on modes all day. I'll have to have a separate boot camp on just like 5 days of modes. That would be so fun. Oh no, I should do 7 days of modes, and each day is a different mode. That'd be killer. And 7 is the just number of completion. That's why modes are so important to learn, because there's 7 of them. But anyway, so there are 2 important things when understanding chords: the root and the quality. The root is the name of the chord, like a C chord or a G chord or an F sharp chord. The quality is major or minor. Now, I'm going to throw out the word diminished here in a little bit. We're not going to think about that too much, but the main quality is if it's major or minor. Okay. So if I had a D minor chord, the root is D, the quality is minor. If I had a C major chord, the root is C, the quality is major. The roots for the chords in any key are directly related. I actually should say they are the 7 notes of the keys major scale. So if I was playing a song in the key of C, the 7 chords that I can use in the key of C is a C chord, D chord, E chord, F chord, G chord, A chord, and B chord. If I was playing a song in the key of D, I can use D chord, E chord, F sharp chord, G chord, A chord, B chord, C sharp chord. That is the roots. Now, let's talk about the quality. Are these major chords? Are these minor chords? The quality is all wrapped up in something what we refer to as the Nashville number system chart. This is in your workbook, okay? This Nashville number system chart is more consolidated. It's not done in the circle of fifths. It's done chromatically. We're going to use the term chromatic a lot tomorrow in fretboard formulas, but chromatically means I'm not skipping anything. I'm going like from C, then C sharp or D flat, then D sharp or E flat. I have consolidated this into what you would normally refer to these keys as. I do not have C sharp. I have just done this as D flat. I do not have D sharp. I refer to that as E flat. However, I did include F sharp and G flat because you see both of those. Okay. So there's actually 13 of these total. Okay. Because F sharp and G flat are technically the same thing. The first column is the key. The next 7 columns are the 7 chords you can have in this key. Now, I do not like the word memorization because if you look at this, this is a lot to memorize. I like the word formula and I like the word fluency. That's a heck of a lot easier. There is a formula to do this, and then you just plug things in and you become fluent in it. Memorize none of this. That might sound crazy to say. You can if you want, okay? But you do not have, I should say you don't have, don't memorize this, but I mean, honestly, I wouldn't. I would focus on the formula first, but if you want to memorize it, go for it. I told you I'm a weird teacher, guys. For somebody who is so nerdy, I don't want you memorizing anything. Okay, so I'm going to start with the key of C. The roots. Let's look at the roots of these chords. Now, a major chord is just the note of the chord. Like if I just see a C here, or if I just see a D flat, that's major. If there is an M next to the chord, that means it is minor. It is a minor sounding chord. Here's a C chord. Here's a C minor. Okay, major, happy sounding, minor, sad sounding. That's a very elementary way of thinking of it, but it's a great way to think about it. If we see a D-I-M, now sometimes you might see this as a little degree sign. That means diminished. A major chord is made up of 3 notes, a 1, a 3, and a 5. We'll talk a little bit about that with the cage system. We don't need to think about that right now. But the minor, I'm flatting that middle note. I'm flatting the 3rd. For the diminished, I'm flatting the 3rd and I'm flatting the 5th, which makes it a very diminished sounding. It's kind of creepy sounding. Don't worry about it. It's very rarely used. Let's think about what we need to think about. Again, music theory, know what you need to know to do what you want to do. How many times have you seen diminished on the chord charts you're trying to play? Maybe not a lot. If you have, good thing to learn. If you don't need it, we don't need it right now, okay? The formula for the chords that are used in our keys, which are referred to as the Nashville number system or diatonic chords, the formula is very simple. The root of my chords are the 7 notes of the keys major scale. So if I was going to write a song in the key of C or play a song in the key of C, I have C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Those are the 7 notes of the C major scale. The formula for the quality, major or minor, 1, 4, 5 are major. Those are the pink columns. 2, 3, 6 are minor. Those are the gray columns. Diminished is extra gray. The reason why I did that as gray is because diminished is basically a minor chord with a flat 5. We will rarely use that. The formula is the same regardless of the key. If I was playing a song in the key of G, what are the notes of my G major scale? G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. Don't even need to think about that too much right now. So the chords I can use in the key of G, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. 1, 4, 5 are majors. So the G, C, and D, G major, C major, D major. The 2, 3, 6 are minor. A minor, B minor, E minor. So if you're writing a song in the key of D, these are the chords that will sound great together. This is also great if you're transposing a song, like changing, if you're covering a song and it was originally in the key of C, but you have to, but maybe like a girl was singing it and you're a guy and you want to sing the song. Well, let's transpose it to the key of G. Well, what would the chords be? This is where Nashville number system comes into play because the formula is still the same. So let's say I was playing with, let's just use the same song. Let's use With or Without You by U2. With or Without You by U2 is a song in the key of G. And you can easily just Google that, With or Without You by U2 key. You can also look up the chords. The chords are actually, if let's say I didn't even know it was in the key of D, the chords are D, A, D major, A major, B minor, and G major. D, A, B minor, G. Those are the chords in With or Without You by U2. Even if you didn't know what key it's in, if you knew it was a D chord, an A chord, a B minor chord, and a G chord, well, what key has those? The key of D has those D, A, B minor, G. They're right there. This chord, knowing those chords will show you the key. Now, With or Without You by U2 in the key of D does start on the one chord of D. Not every song starts on the one chord. Some starts on the 4, some on the 5, some on the minor 6. But a lot of them, they do start on the one chord. It's a cool songwriting tool. You can also think about these as numbers. With or Without You by U2 is a D, A, B minor, G. And that's a good song to teach on because it's the exact same 4 chords the entire song. D, A, B minor, G. That is a 1, 5, 6, 4 chord progression. 1, 5, 6, 4. 1, 5, 6, 4. So let's say you wanted to play that song, but you needed to move it to the key of G because you can't sing like Bono. We need to move it to a different key, and like the key of G, I would just keep moving up, and G sounds good, even if you're playing with the capo, whatever. Okay. But let's say I want to move to the key of G. What are the chords? What are the chords in With or Without You if I was playing in the key of G? Well, in the key of D, it was D, A, G, B minor. What is that in the key of G? Numbers. Think numbers. This is where numbers over everything when it comes to knowing the notes of my key. We're going to do this so much for scales. Focus on the numbers and the formula before obsessing over what is what with the notes of my key. With or Without You is a 1, 5, 6, 4. In the key of D, 1, 5, 6, and then 4. Let's do that in the key of G. 1, 5, 6, 4. 1 is G. 5 is D. 6 is E minor. And then C is 4. See the storm set in your eyes. See the night. There, it sound now as a female vocalist, it could sing it a little bit better. I'm no singer by any means, but you can sing it better for me as a female vocalist because I do not have Bono's voice at all. I don't even have a good voice. But that number system is a great way to transpose. It's also a great way to practice what we refer to as relative pitch. Let me get out of here so you can see my face. Relative pitch. Let me say this. Perfect pitch. I don't even have, I believe you can train it. I'm training myself to get perfect pitch, and I think I'm getting closer. Perfect pitch is when you can play any note at random, like, and know what that is. Like, no, that's a C sharp. Or here, I know that's a G. That is a very difficult thing to learn. Most people say you have to be born with that, but I believe you can be trained on it. I have a few students that have it. It's an amazing gift. But relative pitch is something that's actually very easy to train yourself in. Relative pitch is recognizing the function and quality of any chord, regardless of what key you're in. So even if I didn't know what key a song was in, but I'm listening to With or Without You by U2. Let's say I was listening to it on Spotify, my headphones, and I had never heard the song before. I've never played it. I don't know what chords they're playing. I don't know what key they're in. But I hear this chord, this chord, this chord. Relative pitch, I'm looking to identify two things by ear. One is the quality.
2 is the function. The quality is, can I hear, is that major or minor? That first chord sounds major, second chord sounds major, that one sounds minor. I'm beginning to hear that. And if you're terrible at this right now, most people are terrible at this when they start. This is all learning the language. This is what I refer to as active listening. I'm going to have more, I actually want to do more masterclasses on ear training, but this is active listening, is when you're listening to a song, try to actually play an active role in that. Absorb it, comprehend it. Again, this is a language. Comprehend this. Can you hear, is this major or minor? Okay. Now, the second thing to try to get by ear is the function. Function is how the chord is functioning in the key. You don't need to know what the key is in order to do this, because every single one chord functions as a one chord. It's going to sound like a one chord. The one chord is my home base chord. When I land on that, it can resolve. It's a complete resolution. My 5 chord functions like a 5 chord. It's wanting to resolve to something else. My minor 6 function as the minor 6. It is the strongest pull of the minors, of all of the minor chords. The 4 chord is what we refer to as a predominant. It feels like I'm trying to build to something else. So if you can train your ear to know what a 1 chord sounds like, what the minor 6 chord sounds like, what the 4 chord sounds like, you can begin to learn this number system really well. And this will help you learn songs by ear really well. But the number system is great for to practice relative pitch. It's great to practice this active listening. It's also great to learn your songs this way. If you want, this is not in the workbook, this is not homework or anything. And I was not even planning on sharing this, but you know me, when I start, I can't stop. I love what I do so much. I just want all the knowledge to be squeezed out of me, teaching to be squeezed out of me. So I want to share as much as I possibly can with you to help you. If you wanted to practice this, what I would do is I would get, I'm old school, I like printing stuff out, but get a chord chart. Try this with or Without You by U2. Same 4 chords. You can go on Ultimate Guitar. Sometimes they're not always accurate, but we're grateful for the resource. Go on Ultimate Guitar, get a chord chart, With or Without You by U2. It will say the key on there probably. It's got a D, A, B minor, G, just the chords. Okay, great. What you're going to do, you're not going to play it on the guitar immediately. You're going to go to this chart that's in the workbook, this National Number System chart. You're going to assign a number to each chord. Now I'm using, I think you guys are so nice. I love what I'm reading here. I'm using the Roman numerals in here, but you can just write, like for a 1, literally write a 1, for a 2, write a 2. You don't have to do the fancy Roman numerals. I just have uppercase and lowercase so that you can see the uppercase is major, the lowercase is minor, but you can just use numbers. It's the National Number System. So I see the chords on my chart. I'm going to write, every time I see a D chord, I'm in the key of D, I'm going to write a 1 next to it. Every time I see an A chord, that's the 5, I'm going to write a 5 next to it. Every time I see a B minor, that's the minor 6, I'm going to write a 6. Every time I see the G, that's the 4, I'm going to write a 4. That is a great exercise because you're learning, wow, when I play that D chord, it sounds like a 1 chord. I don't care that we're playing a D chord. I want us to understand it's sounding like a 1. Because anytime you hear any other song, when you recognize, oh my gosh, that sounds like a 1 chord. I don't care if it's a C sharp. I don't care if it's an E flat, whatever it is. I'm hearing that 1. That is relative pitch. That is why I always preach scale degree numbers before obsessing about actual notes. And we're going to talk about that on day 4 with scales and improvisation to make improvisation so easy for you. Okay. So that's what I would do. Now, if you want to take that a second step, transpose it to a different key. And I would do your open keys, like C, A, G, E, D, the open keys of Caged, where you're dealing with just open chords, but transpose it to the key of G. Okay, it's a 1, 5, 6, 4 in the key of G. 1 would be G, 5 is D, 6 is E minor, 4 is C. That's a great way to practice that. So 1, just get your chord chart. 2, figure out after you get your chord chart, step 1, you know what, I'll put this in a PDF and give it to you guys because this is a lot. But step 1, after you find your key. Step 2, after you find your key, assign a number to every chord. Step 3, what was that? I don't know what that was. Anyway, step 3, transpose to the key of G or some easy key. Okay. I don't know what that ding was. Anyway, I was just hoping nothing shut off. Anyway, that's what I'll do. I'll put a file on that. So I'm going to give you guys two So you can, this is a transposed question. We're going to do a Q&A here in just a second. But if you transpose, do you then put on a capo? So you don't have to. So for example, let's say I was in the key of D, playing With or Without You. 1 chord is D, 5 chord is A, 6 chord is B minor, and then 4 chord is G. 1, 5, 6, 4. If I want to transpose that to any other key, that is the key of D. Let's do this for the key of G. 1 is G, 5 is D, 6 is E minor, 4 is C. So you can play this in 2 different keys. Here it is in the key of D. See the storms in your eye, da, 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 da. Okay, now let's say I want to do this in the key of G. 1, 4, 5, 1, 5, 6, 4 in the key of G. Here we go. Let me get the starting pitch. Hang on. What did it start on? Start on 3. Okay, here we go. Let me do a 1, 4, 5, 6 in the key of G just to get the note here, and then I'll sing it. Okay, so I was doing it in the key of D. Now this is in the key of G. Same song, no capo. See the storm set in your eyes. See the thorn twist in your side. So it's the same song, but now it's in a different key. Everything, the 1 chord still functions as the 1, the 5 chord, the 6 chord, the 4 chord still functioning the same. But I've now just transposed this from the key of D, where the D was the 1, to now the key of G, where the G is the 1. I was actually using some scale degree stuff that we'll talk about on Thursday, where the melody starts on a 3, and I was looking for the 3 in the key of G. But I didn't need a capo for that. Now I could have transposed it to the key of G by using a capo and still playing everything as if it was in D, where okay, D, E flat, E, F sharp or G flat, G, and put a capo on 5 and still do D, A, B minor, G, where it looks like I'm playing in the key, and that's of G, but I'm not. I'm playing in the key of D. That's key shape. That's a totally different thing with the Cage system. I actually have an online course on everything that I just did on key shapes and all of that, which is why I'm so excited about these online courses, because what has happened is in these master classes, I want to continue teaching them. Like I'm going to get off track with what I'm supposed to do. So again, Thursday, I'm going to talk about how you can get access to all of those, and it's going to be great. But hopefully that answered a little bit of the question. I love it. Okay. So there is information on rhythm and how to read rhythmic notation. It's not necessary to do right now, but I did include that in the workbook. I know we didn't get to it tonight because I do want to leave time for Q&A. I know this is turning into a 2-hour session, but we're still pulling big numbers in here, so this is great. But we are going to now leave time for the Q&A. Actually, before I do that, let me just say, later tonight, I'm going to send out a mass email to everybody in here. Should be on the list. If you're not getting emails from me yet, go ahead and sign up for that bootcamp registration. The link is in the bottom of this video. It says get fully registered. Put your email in that. When you click that link, you will be on my email list. I'm going to send an email out tonight. It's going to have the replay recording of this. Okay. This might be good to watch again, even just listen to it. Like if you're driving to work tomorrow or something. Replay of this is going to be in there. The resources and replays link for everything is also going to be in there. The waitlist, if you are excited about this Caitlin's Guitar Academy stuff, I'm going to send you the link to that so you can kind of check out that stuff. Again, I recommend not, if you want to buy the courses now, you can. I recommend don't buy them yet because I'm going to give you like all of them for a stupid deal at the end of this. But you can check it out. It's cool. I'm going to send you a link to that. I'm also in the Facebook group. I'm going to put the formulas for the major scale PDF or the major key PDF. I'm also going to put the formula that I talked about if you do want to practice your Nashville number system. I'm also going to put on that email and in the Facebook group the like rules of how you can win the music theory course. Okay. And I will just say all you need to do is post yourself to that Facebook group playing anything of the major scale exercise. One note, all of the notes, whatever it is. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to be memorizing anything. I just want to see that you guys are actually putting an effort in this. That goes a big way with me. I just love that. Okay. This is, and that should be everything. If I forget anything, I hopefully won't forget anything. But if I do, I'm hopefully will remember by the time I wake up tomorrow. But that email is going out tonight. I will send an email tomorrow morning with the link to the next live. Now, the link to the next live will also be in the Facebook group. You've probably already got it if you've been getting these emails from me, but we'll be doing all of that. Yes. Okay. Excellent. We're going to leave time for Q&A here right now. I will say tomorrow is fretboard formulas, how we can easily navigate the fretboard. I'm so excited for this. I've given away my fretboard formulas course in the Facebook group. We're going to cover some cool hacks though tomorrow. It's going to be a really, really fun time. If you enjoyed this, I would recommend coming for all of these days, but tomorrow is going to be really cool to kind of see some fretboard tricks. It's really, really exciting to just make things make sense. Again, memorizing nothing. We're memorizing nothing, but we're learning the entire fretboard in one day. It's just so excited for you guys to have the breakthrough on that. Wednesday is cage system day. That's a big one. Trying to teach the entire cage system in one sitting. Well, let's do what we can. And Thursday is scales and improvisation. It's just going to be a very exciting week. I love doing this, and I'm just thrilled that so many people are in here. I just want to give away as much as I possibly can. Our time on earth is limited. It's incredibly limited, and I want to be sharing as much as I can. I've kept a lot in just because, one, I have a limited amount of time and energy in my day. But I'm just kind of done with it. I'm like, this year in 2025, I just want to share everything I possibly can with as many people as possible. When you learn music, when you really understand how to speak the language on your instrument, you become a part of it. You feel like you're a part of the family. You no longer feel like an outsider. Like you've picked up the guitar, you're hacking away at it, and then you're listening to like some Steve Vai recording. You're like, I can never get there. I want you by the end of this to, even though our fingers aren't as fast as Steve Vai, or I'm not playing like lightning speed, or I don't know all of my chord changes or whatever it is, I want you to feel like you're a part of it now. The next time you listen to your favorite song, you're starting to understand what's going on. You're feeling like you are a part of this. And that's again why I'm preaching community over competition. Post that video of you playing 3 notes of the major scale. We're gonna fire you up and get so excited about it. So thank you for joining me tonight. I know music theory is not the most attractive thing to other people. It is to me, but I hope tonight showed you how beneficial this can be, how you can start to understand these things, and hopefully it's taking I know we covered a lot, but I'm hoping this is taking the intimidation factor away. The trick to mastering anything on this instrument or anything in music, learn it in a way where you're taking the intimidation factor away. Pull that curtain behind and see it's this little man in Wizard of Oz. Take the intimidation factor away, work through it, begin to tolerate it a bit, and then can you fall in love with it? If you can take the intimidation factor away from music theory, if you can tolerate it and work through your major scales like she's telling me to, and then eventually you're working through this and you're falling in love with this because you're seeing the benefit of it and you're seeing the beauty of it, that's when you know you're making it as a musician. I believe a musician is somebody who is speaking the language of music on their instrument. It is not somebody that is just reading tab. It is not somebody that's just playing a chord chart and has no idea what they're playing. We want to communicate because I know each and every one of you, even if you think you're not creative, you have something in here that needs to come out. You have something in here that you need to say, whether it's a thought, whether it's an idea, whether it's an emotion. And if you can actually learn the language, you can get it out through here. When I was a child, I had all of these emotions that I could not get it out using my tongue. I could not get anything out. I didn't know how to verbalize anything. And this is how I was able to get all of it out. And it is the most therapeutic experience. It is one of the most beautiful experiences you'll ever have the rest of your life. So thank you for tolerating music theory tonight. I pray that eventually you will learn to love it and fall in love with this. Now, Q&A time. I've said what I need to say. It only took almost 2 hours. Q&A time. I will be looking over here at the comments. I'll say I'm going to try to cap this in about 10 minutes, but I got nowhere to be. So Q&A time. Let's fire away. Okay. First one in here. Any tips for stretching or spreading fingers to successfully reach the frets? Yes. You're going to work on 1, 2, 3, 4. You're also going to have the guitar up a little bit more, and you're simply going to span the pinky finger. Now I'm at 5 frets. Do one more. 6. Okay. If you do that one time a day, all I'm doing is I started with 4, span it to 5, span it to 6, and then maybe the next week or two, maybe I'll try 7. That's just a great finger stretching exercise. There's also, Diodario makes a great one of these just to strengthen the fingers. But I love doing that little exercise, but to be safe, neck up. Okay. You can actually get an extra fret by just moving the neck up. Can you talk about your modded PRS in the background? Yes, so that's a PRS that PRS actually is letting me borrow. I've got this great deal with PRS that they equip me with some of the most beautiful instruments and for a few months, and I teach with them. And I've loved it. He needs to go back eventually, but it's been a beautiful time teaching with that. That is a 24 fret a CESE. It's actually a very affordable guitar. I think it's about around $500. It's not modded or anything. It's just the stock pickups, stock everything. 24 frets though. I love teaching with 24 frets, so I can teach things in 2 octaves. And it's the ice blue color. It's absolutely gorgeous. Excuse me, Starlight. It's a beautiful guitar. I love this guitar. It's a very, very affordable guitar. Again, it's the Paul Reed Smith SE, a CE, 24 fret CE, SE. It's great. I played that guitar and I thought this was like a $1,200-$1,300 guitar. And I'm like, wait, this is like I think it's $499. It's something crazy. It's a beautiful, beautiful instrument. Highly recommend. PRS's playability is phenomenal, especially for that SE price range is great. Okay, keep going here. Thanks so much. Really cool stuff. I was just curious to your opinions on to use a pick or not. So honestly, I love playing with the fingers. I went to school for classical guitar, and if my professor saw a pick on me, it was a cardinal sin. So I love using the fingers. I will say, if you want to use the fingers for this major scale exercise, you could use just the thumb. You could use just the index finger. You could use index middle. That's a great one. Index middle, index middle, index middle, index middle. That's classical style. I love that. You'll feel like Paco de Lucia when you're doing that. I love that. Now, when you're doing some of these exercises, I was doing alternating down up. You can also do all down strokes. You can also do all up strokes, which I would rarely play with, but that's good to practice your up strokes. But you can definitely do this without a pick. I love it. Focused on theory the last few years, and it's opened up so much more. Yeah, it really is. I love that. Sometimes feel limited of not wanting to use a pick, but then it does make me also possibly do finger picking. Yeah, cool. Oh, thank you guys are so nice. Yeah. It doesn't feel like I'm being generous. I feel like you guys are being generous of your time. I just love doing this. This is just fun for me. See you tomorrow night. Love it, Rhett. Thank you. Should I practice with a pick? Or yes, I would honestly, if you have done finger picking before, practice with both. Practice with both finger picking and a pick. I love that. Love it. Where's Starlight? Okay, we'll get Starlight here. Same pickups. Okay, awesome. Okay, there's a few of these wanting to see the dog. Okay, let's do Starlight's time. Here you go, baby girl. It's your time to shine, Starlight. Okay, most important part of the boot camp, right? This is Starlight. She is a 3-year-old mini Aussie. She is my best friend. She's such a good girl. She is... I think you're tired, right? You're sleepy. She can be so lazy. She's a little rag doll. She's just a snuggle muffin. She's my little snug nugget. She thinks she's like 10 pounds, like she's a lap dog. Like she just wants to snuggle with you all the time. She's great. She could probably just sit on my lap while I was teaching this entire thing and be totally fine with it, right? Yeah. Are you tired? I named her after the Muse song Starlight. She's a good dog. She'll be with us the entire boot camp, guys. And Caitlin's Guitar Academy members are going to get a lot of Starlight time. Anyway, let's keep it going here. Yes. Okay. So great question. Yes, you can rewatch. Can I rewatch? I want to learn theory and the guitar so badly. Yes, so you can rewatch this link. If you have this link that you're watching now, this is going to be archived on my YouTube channel. So make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. This link is going to be archived, and I will send out that link tomorrow. I'll send out that link tonight. You'll get that here soon. Okay. You have a Les Paul. It's heavy for practicing. Yes, you need to sit. Which Fender? Okay, so if you're used to a Les Paul, Honestly, like I have a Fender back there that is P90s. That Telly has P90s, which they've got a little bit more meat to them than just like basic single coil pickups. I love any Fender with P90s. A Telly would be great. I think if you're going from a Les Paul, I think a Telly is great for like a harder rock sound. Strat, you can get a little more of a jazzier sound, clean tone. So if you are diving into the Fender world, I would go Telly if you're kind of transitioning from Les Paul. Awesome. What are your feelings on 8s? Are you talking about string size? If you're talking about string size, I actually use all 10s. My string size are 10s for all my electric guitars. Love the energy. Thank you. I'm glad I had energy tonight. Yes, I have thought about starting a Discord channel. Yes, she is an Aussie. I love it. Yeah. Yeah, if you guys are wanting to learn the guitar, stick in for the next 3 days. And when my academy opens up, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. There's so much learning experience. I'm so excited for this. Recommendation for bar chords. You guys want to learn the bar chord hack? We'll do it. Might as well. I'm giving away all the secrets tonight. Actually, not at all. This is tip of the iceberg. Okay, recommendation for bar chords. Usually when people have trouble with bar chords, I know this had nothing to do with the class, but I love it. Any questions, we're good for it. I've got nowhere to be till I think my first lesson starts at 11 tomorrow. So for bar chords are normally painful because, and guys, if you need to go to bed, you're not offending me if you want to leave us. Totally fine. Bar chords are usually painful right here because we don't truly understand what the purpose of our thumb is. The purpose of the thumb is not to smash into the back of the neck of the guitar to squeeze into these bar chords. That's usually what we use our thumb for. It's not. The purpose of the thumb is to guide the hand across the guitar. There should not be much pressure coming from the thumb. Usually when you play bar chords, it's hurting here. My professor used to tell me, one of the best things he ever told me, other than don't use a pick and don't read tab, he would tell me the location of the problem is usually not the location of the solution. If you have a problem with bar chords because your thumb is hurting, sometimes we try changing the thumb or tweaking the thumb. The answer is all on the strumming hand elbow. If you take your strumming hand elbow and you push the guitar into your body, the fretboard of the guitar is going to go toward your fingers. What that will do is it will relieve the pressure from the thumb, and I can balance that, supplement that with pressure from my elbow. This is not painful. I could press in here all day long. That's not painful to my elbow. I can now remove my thumb and play a bar chord without the thumb, crystal clear. Now, obviously, I'm going to place my thumb for guidance. But if you can start pushing the body of the guitar into your body, that will relieve the pressure from the thumb. Okay, that's how I would recommend helping out your bar chords. Okay. Let's keep going here. As a new player, what would be the best next step to learn after the theory? So the next step would be fretboard navigation in the cage system, which is where we're going. So that would be the next step of after this theory. If you want to go deeper with theory, I would learn scale degree numbers and actually say the numbers of the scales that you're working, like C major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then the actual letter notes, which we will talk about when we get to scales on day 4. And that's why this bootcamp to me is so great. I spent a year designing this bootcamp pretty much. Within the next 4 days, like you'll have everything that I'm saying is the next step is literally the next day. Shared and smashed the like. I love it. Thank you. What was the name of the iconic guitar? So that is an iconic guitar. Solana is the model name. It's a custom made though. It's got it's rose gold finish. It's completely custom. But if you look up iconic guitar, go to iconicguitars.com or just search on Instagram iconic guitar. You'll see so much. But that is a custom. Solana is the body type. And it is flamed maple. Sometimes people refer to it as roasted maple. I think British people refer to it as roasted maple sometimes. New to your channel. For complete beginner, would the all access... Yes. So with the all access membership, it's going to be for complete beginners through even if you've been playing for a long time. There's actually a great one that's available. They're all available now, but I do have something called the Guitar Starter Pack, which is literally if you've never touched a guitar before, it's a great course. But there's so much good stuff for beginners. It goes from like open chords to cage system stuff. Again, fretboard navigation, how to hold a pick. There's so much stuff to, and then in my courses, it goes through like all the blueprints: major scale blueprint, harmonic minor blueprint, pentatonic blueprint, chromatic scale exercises to modes. There's so much with that. And I will say this, I'm going to talk more about the All Access membership on Thursday, because that's when it'll officially open. But with the All Access membership, you don't only get access to the 30 courses, you'll get access to everything that'll add in. My plan is, if I can crank out a few of these like every quarter, that's the goal. And that's why I want it to be a community, because if it's a community, you guys are telling me, could you do a course on this? Could you you did a great Muse masterclass on the band Muse last week. Can you do a video course on Muse? Please. I'm all about the community with everything this year. And I want to be teaching courses and providing you guys with courses and resources that will help. But yes, All Access membership is honestly appropriate for literally any age, any level. And I purposely made that way because I want to create a community where we have all levels. I want to create a community of somebody who literally just purchased their first guitar, who's talking with somebody who's a touring musician and learning from each other. What happens sometimes with these communities is everybody's a beginner or everybody's intermediate. I want it to be as diverse as possible so we can learn from each other, not just learn from me. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, bar chords also do get easier with a good setup. God bless you. Thank you so much. Will you teach how to build chord scales and arpeggios? Yeah, so we're going to be looking at that with the cage system. Obviously, I don't have 5 weeks to teach the cage system in this class. I've limited it to one night, I should say. I'm going to literally teach you as much of the cage system as humanly possible on Wednesday night. I have my courses explain pretty much everything with that. But I'm going to do as much as I possibly can for the free night for Cage System. That's our Wednesday night. Cage System class is going to be huge. Please share this link to anybody who wants to learn the Cage System. Wednesday night is Cage Day. Love it. Ciao to you as well, Tammy. As a classically trained guitarist, do you find it easier to play bar chords when the guitar is tilted? Yes. So I normally, if you've taken a one-on-one Zoom lesson with me, when I'm doing acoustic, I usually have the acoustic like this sitting on my leg. I don't even have a stool here. I just have it played like this. This, because my elbow is like pulled into my body a little bit more, taking the pressure off. It also allows me to stretch a little bit more. And pulling the elbow in. Guys, the elbow in makes a huge difference. Watch how many frets I can get here with the elbow out and flat. 6. I can add another fret in by stretching. I can get to a 7th fret by bringing the elbow in and tilting the guitar up. I've been trying for the past several years of taking the classical methods that my professor taught me in college and applying them to modern guitar playing, which is another reason why I wanted to make these courses, because I don't think that's really been done yet. Who is your favorite student? Well, it might be the guy asking. Jake, you know you're one of my favorites. I love you so much, Jake. I love it. Okay, so Jake Kirby in here, I do love him as a student. He's a masterclass student of mine because he lets me indulge with my nerdiness. He gives me all these ideas for allowing me to be even more nerdy. I love it. Does it teach finger picking? Yes, there's literally a video course in there called Finger Picking Foundations. It's a great way. It's actually starts you off actually teaching you like the classical PIMA. It teaches you the foundations. I'm all about teaching you the rules and the foundations and the formulas first, and then you can get crazy with it. Like I'm actually going to add in a Travis picking course here pretty soon, but there's already, within the 30 that are up, there's already the Finger Picking Foundations, which is great. Yes, love it. Yeah, please guys, share this video. Please share all of it just on your Instagram. I don't care. Just share everything to every social media. Get people in here. I love it. Okay, awesome. I think that's almost everything we got. Is the Cage live course still available? So Cage night, if this is Wednesday night. So this is a live boot camp. They're also recorded. You can watch them when this is over. Tonight was music theory. Tomorrow is fretboard navigation and fretboard formulas. Wednesday night is caged system night. We're going to talk about that. And Thursday is scales and improvisation. I do have several caged courses in my Caitlin's Guitar Academy that are available now. But again, when I open everything up on Thursday, it's going to be way more affordable than purchasing each of these one at a time. Okay, that's all I'll say about that. But you can get it now. For the caged system night, I'm actually going to give away my caged crash system course. But yeah, Wednesday night. Come back here Wednesday night to learn as much as we possibly can about the cage system. Love classical guitar. As a classical guitarist, do you use a lot of alternative tunings on the electric guitar? I do. So with a lot of my electric guitars, I have locking tuners where I can't detune too far. I do have a few. So it might be weird, but I'm a classically trained guitarist that has the guitars on my walls are actually tuned to Keith Richards tuning. That is a 5-string. I've cut the low E string, the 6th string. I cut that string off. That is tuned to open G with the G tuning, but the fifth string is the lowest string on there, tuned to G. I have a custom shop telly on here, which is tuned to open G, Keith Richards tuning with all 6 strings. I have the custom shop Strat hanging on my wall that is tuned to open E, Keith Richards tuning. I actually have 3 guitars in here that do Keith Richards tuning because I teach a lot of that. I teach in DADGAD. I do a lot of DADGAD on acoustic guitar. I do obviously drop D. I also do like the Bon Iver C tuning. I do a lot with that. I love alternate tunings. You don't have a lot of time. It's okay. Yeah, you can do these sessions anytime. And I'm big on practicing with, there's a practice schedule actually at the end of your workbook. We'll talk about that later on. We'll probably talk about that tomorrow, but 5 minutes a day is better if it's consistent practice, 5 minutes a day on the most important things like these concepts, 5 minutes a day, rather than just hours of noodling every now and then. You practice these major scale exercises 5 minutes a day. That's it. Just spend a week doing this 5 minutes a day. It's great. Okay, awesome. Well, guys, we are going to wrap up here. I know I said I was going to do 10 minutes of that. That would end up being 17 minutes. I am a numbers girl. I love numbers. So we're wrapping up here tonight. I'm going to send out the emails. Please post your video to the Facebook group. Please come back tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be great with fretboard navigation. Please share this with anybody. Guys, follow me on Instagram at Caitlin Guitar. You can follow my Facebook page, Caitlin's Guitar Academy. And I hope people are excited about the upcoming Caitlin's Guitar all access membership I'm going to be doing. I hope it's an exciting thing. Love it. Your mind was blown. That makes me so happy. So guys, this video is going to be available as soon as YouTube allows us to be archived. I think it should be pretty soon. I'm going to send out links to everything if you're not on the email list. If you're not on my email list yet, click in the description that get fully registered. Click that. I'm going to send out all the emails tonight. I love you all. Please, if you have questions on anything, comment to the Facebook group. The Facebook group, just put a post up there. That's going to be where I'll be answering these questions. Again, I'm kind of using the Facebook group as this like precursor to what the actual membership group. Caitlin's Guitar Academy membership group is not going to be through Facebook because not everybody has it. It's through another system called Circle. It's actually far more advanced than Facebook. We're going to be able to do master classes and Q&A sessions. We're going to do so much stuff with that. But I'm using this Facebook group now just because it's just easier to access if obviously we don't have the membership going yet. That'll open on Thursday. Guys, please come back. This is going to be great. Do you ever play Tool or a Perfect Circle? Yes. 100%. Okay, guys, I love you so much. Is it best for yes, Miguel, if you are interested in the courses, wait for the all access. The full access is going to open up on Thursday. I'm actually going to open up before the session starts so I can walk you through if you are interested in that. I will, because I'm telling you right now, if you were to buy all those courses, it's like close to $5,000, and I do not want anybody to spend that kind of money on anything. I mean, maybe buy a $5,000 guitar, okay, but that's just ridiculous to spend that much money on lessons that are videos. These are worth it. They definitely are worth it. It's just a lot of money. So if you want to, it's going to be a huge, very, very small percentage of that. What that's going to be for the Access membership. So yeah. So I love you guys. Thanks so much for being here. If you have questions on anything, Facebook group, get those videos up. Let me see the effort. You don't have to play through everything. I'll be announcing the winner live tomorrow night. I love you guys. This is just great. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you so much for being here. I was not expecting to have this many people in here. I was not expecting for the love and support that you're showing me right now. This, again, I will say here, I'll just leave it at I'm 33 and still single because I'm trying to do as much as I can to reach as many people as possible. I don't have much of a life outside of this because I'm trying to give it all away. I care for you guys so deeply, and I really believe your life will enhance so much when you learn to speak the language of music. I love you. Have a great one. I will see you guys tomorrow. You're the best. Bye, everybody.